Hey, Paul. Oh, you're muted. Hold on, let me unmute you. There you
I get muted at home all the time.
go. How's it going?
Well, let me see. I've been almost at home 90% of the time for, well, 2 months. So,
Yeah.
I'm pretty well climbing up the walls, but that's
Hey,
okay.
Paul, did you try to get in using two different accounts?
Well, Remax has provided us with a Zoom account, and I tried to get in with that,
Okay.
and I couldn't get in with that, so I tried to get in with my
That
phone.
was because I wasn't here yet.
Well, uh, you should know I'm always there early in case you need somebody to go down and open the door.
True, true. So I'm just gonna cancel on the other one then, unless you want to go to your computer and go
No,
into there.
I actually wanted to be on my laptop, and I can sit back, relax, and take notes, and be up all night
Okay.
realizing how much of a mess I've made.
That's funny. Okay, so I'm gonna remove the other
Sure.
thing then from you, right?
Oh, yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
All right. Yeah. Hi, Kevin. Oh, you are muted, Kevin.
Sorry. How's it going?
That's okay.
Good.
Good. Good. I was like, I should hop in case someone's early, and boom, Paul was there, and then you showed up, and I'm like, all right, good thing I hopped in.
How long do we usually wait for the? I was late for the last one too.
Usually
So.
till 6:30.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
Usually half an hour. I'm not convinced that we need to do half an hour today, but we'll see. And that's here. And just so that everyone knows, this. Hello.
This is the way it works. Everyone figures out audio
Yep.
and video for the first couple minutes.
Yeah. And this call is being recorded, everyone. So I will keep saying that thing again and again, but just so everyone knows. Right. Hi, Ross. You are muted, in case you were trying to say hi there.
Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Pretty good. You?
Pretty okay. Just ended my day, finished talking to my dad.
Nice. Oh,
Yes, I try to Zoom with him at the end of my day every day.
nice.
Hello. Welcome. Oh, your microphone. Did you try? You could try quitting Zoom and coming back in, Ross. That might help. Or test it with a different like app to make sure it is the microphone and not because you have a weird setting happening in Zoom. Because it could be just your preferences in Zoom aren't connected to like the right. It might be detecting by accident something else. You see your face. Hi, Scott. Oh, hasn't been working on Zoom before. Oh, that's so weird. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, new person. Just so everyone knows, this call is being recorded. And we're going to hope to make it available afterwards. Hi, Mark. We're muted. You're muted, Mark. Okay, so we have 35 people who've said they're coming, so we should be able to have at least 15 people show up today, but we will see.
It's not as if they can go anywhere.
Yes, but you know, still.
Well, your chair looks very comfy there.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm getting used to. If I can get into a meeting, I'm getting used to being on them. But you know, getting in from my business account that we were given into something that somebody else has set up is a little bit out of my pay grade.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, William. So if you haven't used Zoom too much, there is a speaker view. So the icon to turn on speaker view should, like the grid view, should be at the top, what's his hand, right? And you can use that and see everyone. Hey, Ray. And see everyone at the same time. Hello, we can't hear you though, William, Ida.
Aruba, is everyone on automatic mute for these ones?
Yes, but I unmute them and then they're still,
Gotcha.
yeah, like, oh, yeah. Hey, Andrew.
Hello. How you guys doing?
Great.
Good, how are you?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
we can hear you.
Okay. My machine's kind of quick. I use it for school, so it's kind of like I try to figure out how to do it without the headphones. But
Oh.
Aida and I are going to switch back and forth. I'll figure it out one day.
Okay. It's all good.
I'm
Nice
like,
to see
oh
you.
my gosh. Aida says hello.
I heard her. Hi, Ida.
Oh, okay. Oh, she can hear you. Good. Okay. Yeah. So we'll use our teacher voices.
Oh, that's funny.
Y'all have any snow yet?
No.
Yet.
No, we say that, but it did snow on the weekend slightly.
Yeah,
Oh,
Just
a
a little
couple of days ago too, here in Calgary, it was like
Yeah.
in the morning it was coming down a little bit.
just a little bit.
Oh, okay. Y'all
Yeah.
have a little snow. All right.
We were joking.
Just so everyone
but-
knows, this is recorded.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Oh, we all set?
Yeah, we're just gonna wait of maybe 10 minutes more. We can all chat, just to give people a little bit more chance to finish work and come online. And then we shall get started. Andrew and Kevin are going to be presenting the site clinic on the submissions that we've gotten. So it should be a very fascinating time for lots of things for us to learn.
All right.
Yeah, how's everyone's day been going?
Oh,
Okay,
it's nice.
thanks.
Oh, go ahead.
No.
Hey, we're seeing some Florida sunshine up y'all way because it was nice and 80 degrees and slight breeze, so it's going pretty cool.
Cool. It's awesome. It's nice today here. It's like super clear sky. It's really bright. It's fairly warm. It's like 16 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit.
Okay. Oh wow. Yeah, we got
Yeah,
to
it's good.
get back up there.
Okay.
This is my first meeting with you guys. So what's the online clinic all about?
Kevin or Andrew, you want to take that?
Sure. It's something we usually do at WordCamp. And so we asked for submissions beforehand for people that have sites that either they're not happy with or just want some suggestions with or having specific problems with. And so Andrew and I have spent some time reviewing those sites, and then we're going to chat with those people about them. And then if at the end we're all done and someone else has a site they want to share, we can put it on the screen and pick it apart or tell you where we can do some improvements or give you help. That's the gist of it.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, so usually with meetups, we wait for everyone a little while to give everyone some time to show up. Hey, Chris. And then we get started. Typically, in-person meetups last till around 9, but we'll see what happens today. I'll have to bounce a little bit before 9 because I am fasting, and the sunset happens right after 9, so I have to go prepare food. But Kevin and Andrew can probably stay for a while, and assuming Christina's internet is working again, she will also show up.
Ross can only stay for an hour. Is Ross's site? No.
You guys sound familiar.
So, Mark, what do you mean when you say the quality seems to be pretty awesome? What are you talking about? Like the video?
All of it, actually. I was just on a Zoom meeting this morning, and it was horrible. It was choppy. It was just the absolute worst.
Aww.
So it's nice seeing all these people and actually being able to hear them. It's refreshing.
Yay,
actually.
yes. I bet. That's good. Cool. So what's everyone, what's the most interesting thing you did today? Let's go. Anyone who wants to share?
Well, I'm a financial advisor with Edward Jones. I just took over the office in Marteloup, and I'm doing hands optional financial reviews because we do it through video conference. And as you can tell, there's a really good chance that none of us here are actually wearing pants. So
yes. Oh, pants. I'm wearing pants, but they don't match.
So it's kind of like the weatherman that, is dressed up in the suit, then they're wearing like the flip-flops and the shorts underneath, but nobody can see it. Very much the same kind of thing.
That's funny.
I had an interesting one today. I work at Alberta Health Services and in IT, and I'm doing like COVID response. We have like a rotation of all the main IT people. And I had an urgent request today from somebody at the hospital requesting a CD burner.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure what to do with COVID, but it was interesting because it was, I said, well, there's probably a different way for us to do that. I don't know if we have any CD burners kicking around anywhere, but they were just trying to transfer some files or whatever, I think from some of those medical machines to somebody's PC or whatever. And CD burner, we just kind of laughed at that.
That's really funny. Anyone else?
I got a phone call today in YYCWPMUG Corp, which is a company that is willing to hire me part-time. I also received another call from Career Connection, which they will help me to find more job opportunity. Either I'll be like having 2 part-time jobs, or if I get a full-time job, that would be better. So
cool. Well, that's exciting.
Making some progress today.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Good to hear.
Thank you.
Always good news. I deadlifted 250 pounds today. It's my best so far. I'm excited about that.
Was that virtually or actually?
Actually, thank you very much. No, virtually, I can do like 1,000 pounds,
Nice. So is that at home? You have the gear at home?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I gave away all my
Yeah.
and so I'm regretting it now because yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, like, it didn't make sense for me to pay for a gym because the only thing I do at the gym is lift. So, and I lift only in the rack. So it made more sense for me to just buy a rack and buy the weights and buy a bar than just go to the gym every single day. It just made more sense. Yeah. And I have the room, so.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, and yes, Kevin has been doing that. I was at first I'm like, does Kevin have a twin I don't know about?
Yeah.
Or something, but nope. It is just an
He should be coming in to bring me a beer. Coming in to bring me a beer pretty soon.
What you need to have is an actual beer there.
That's right. There we go.
Virtual beer?
It's unfortunate it's only virtual right now.
Oh, that's so
I'd say
funny.
sober. A beer every minute might put me over the edge.
Look at my website. You might need two.
Well,
All right.
I was gonna say who are we waiting for? Waiting for lots.
A
couple more minutes.
We'll give it 2 minutes. Yeah, a couple more minutes, and then we'll get started.
I'm sure some people will roll in late anyways. But.
I'm also going to. Yeah, and besides, I'm recording this, so it should be okay. And I'll put it in a group here. Give me a sec. What's our group? Calgary WordPress meetup group. If you're not in the Facebook group, you should join.
Yeah, there are a couple people that requested sites, but they're not here yet. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I guess we start with the
well,
ones
maybe
where
you can do those ones at the end.
Yeah. We can do, because Mark's here, we can bump, even though he was last to get it in, we can put him in.
Yes.
That's Scott and Katie.
Craig's not here. Cheryl's not here.
Chris.
William, no? And Paul.
Well, Paul's here for sure. He was the first one here. He was here before I was.
Oh, I should turn off this background. Doesn't need to keep coming in.
Yeah, you had enough beers, Kevin. Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
He probably could have Darth Vader do that. He would just have to dress up as Darth Vader first.
That's right.
Oh, we have a new person. Cheryl's here.
Nice.
Okay, post that. Hello, Cheryl. How's it going?
How are you?
I'm good. We're all good.
Thank
Excited
you.
to
Nice
have
to
you.
be here.
Yeah. All right. Should I put this on Twitter? What does everyone think? No, maybe not. Might get weird.
Yeah.
I saw some other meetups. They were opening their meetups to anyone who might have want to attend. But since this is a site clinic, I think we'll just keep it to anyone who is in our meetup and shows up today.
Sounds good.
But it might be something we do for later ones. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Hey, I was saying like something like 15. There's 14 of us here. That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
I think we can get this started. Yeah.
There's 15. There's one in the back.
Oh, I guess, yeah, there's 2 of you. Yeah. 15. Woohoo! Oh, then 16, because we have like 2 couples here. Ooh, and there's a new person, Cassandra. I'm hyper, as you might have noticed.
And Kevin's assistant.
Okay,
of course.
Well, that's right.
Of course, that's right. Hello,
right.
Cassandra. How's it going? Okay, Kevin, I believe you're starting.
Sure.
Or,
So,
well, I don't know,
yeah.
whichever one of you is starting.
Yeah, I can get started. That's cool.
Okay.
So for anyone new, we'll just give you a little idea of what the site clinic is. So this is something we do at WordCamp typically. And we've asked people to submit their sites to have it reviewed by us. And we also asked if they're having any problems with the sites, we can help them kind of correct it along the way. We can offer a bit of our opinions on what we like, what we don't like about the site, how it's performing, things like that. So I've got four sites, and Andrew is going to be handling another 4 or 5 sites. I think we're going to do one together. So yeah, so we can get started. I'm going to attempt to share my screen. We'll see if this works. There we go. Is that working?
Yep, I see it. Does everyone see it?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So this is Katie's site. Maybe we can unmute Katie. Can we do that?
Okay, unmuted.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. So that, and then we can have a conversation a bit. Okay, so in your submission, you had mentioned that the load times were slow. Is that kind of your biggest challenge with the site?
Yeah, that's my biggest challenge for all the sites that I create. I think that's my biggest weakness.
Okay. So the first thing you should do on your site, and maybe some of the other sites you built recently, is run it through a website called GT Metrics. I'm about to show it to you. So I already ran your site. So in terms of design, I like it. I think it's you know, it's engaging. It's got lots going on. I like the client stuff. Overall design's good, but you're right that the performance side is lacking. So we need to do a few things to work on that. So I ran it through GT Metrics, and it's not good. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So a couple of the big things that stand out is, well, the F is a huge standout. The page size is also quite large. At 25 megs, that's quite a bit for one page, especially for on mobile or anywhere, basically any size site or any type of site that's quite big, unless it's a multimedia site. But so when you run your site through GT Metrics, it gives you this outline of all the things you could possibly do to improve your score, and it shows you really where you're failing, and it's in your images. So the two big ones, and scaled images, it almost always comes back when you're first starting out. Optimizing images as well, and then some of the other things. So I'll run through them all, and we can see what we can do to fix them. We won't be fixing them now, but I can send you away. It's all pretty straightforward, and it, like I said, it lays it out for you nice and neat as to exactly what images you need to fix on your site to improve. So the serve scaled images, what that means is when a page loads, it's displaying an image at a certain size. So say it's 200 pixels by 200 pixels is what is showing on your site. But what's loading on your site is 3,000 pixels by 3,000 pixels. You don't need that large an image to be displaying at 200 by 200. So what you should be doing, and you can see it right here, your Cortland.png file. I don't know where that is. I won't go into it, but it's displaying at 300 by 300. But the size that you've uploaded is 2,314 pixels wide. So when you're serving up scaled images, what we want to try and do is no more than double the size. So if you're serving it up at 300, you don't want it to be larger than 600 pixels wide, okay? And that's going to help you get rid of that, at least on that image, the serve scaled size. And so you've got, nearly a dozen here that you'll need to go into your site and fix, because they're all coming in. There's another 300 that's 1,200 pixels wide, 270 that's 1,500. So that's quite a few that you can just go in. And unfortunately, it's a manual process usually to go through because they're all going to be showing up at different sizes. So the same can be done with optimized images. So typically when you're saving images, Photoshop, whatever, you can set the quality of the image, and that's fine for the most part. When you run it through here, they still want it to be optimized more. So typically what I do is I've got some programs on my computer that I can just, bulk dump, and it'll optimize them all for me. They're typically a couple bucks on a Mac. In the App Store, you can look them up. Another one that I use though is, it's called TinyPNG. So tinypng.com. And you can do 20 images at a time. You just grab a folder, drag and drop into here, and it'll process them all. You download them again, and they're all 100% optimized, almost 100% of the time. I've never had an issue with this site. The only issue that you might have is your image might be larger than 5 megs to start. If that was already on your site, that's a big problem. So if you keep it below that, and you'll usually knock off 75% of your image size. You won't lose quality, but the file size will go down. And so you'll want to maybe take a look at that as well, because it looks like you've got another almost dozen that could be, and some of them are crazy. But like a 50% reduction or 19%, and they're not large images, but GTmetrix will still give you a poor score for that. And then you've got another couple things. So defer parsing your JavaScript and leveraging browser cache. So the browser caching is a little difficult because these are files from Google, and if they're not leveraging them, it can be tough. So depending on what it is, I usually ignore it. The one thing is, don't try to get to 100%. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. It's just a matter of optimizing what you can to get the highest score possible. And really, the bigger deal is page load times. So you want to get it down to 2 seconds max would be great. Lower, even better. And then get this total page size down as well. But one thing you could do with this Java parsing is there are plugins that allow you that'll automatically take the JavaScript that gets loaded into the header in WordPress, and it'll move it down to the bottom. So what that does is it allows the page to load a little bit quicker, and that you're not loading all of these JavaScript resources before your entire site loads. So it just gets to the person a little bit quicker, okay? And so those were the big things, I guess, for optimizing and getting things quicker. The other thing, for your image sizes, I ran it through, or I just loaded the page and then saw things as they come up. You're using a lot of PNG files, and for me, I use PNG and JPEG files primarily, also SVG. But if you're just using a PNG file and JPEG, the rule that I usually follow is, if it's a photo, use a JPEG, because it's a lot more colors, but it also saves the file a lot smaller. PNG I reserve for logos that I don't have a vector file for, or something like that. Illustrations, anything that you don't want to have. You've seen it on sites before where you load a logo and there's red and it's got that kind of granular look to it. It's because they've saved it as a JPEG or something. You want that to be in a PNG because you want it to be crisp. JPEG or photos should be saved as JPEG files. And your site will just load a lot quicker, and you shouldn't lose any of the quality in the photo either, okay? Yeah, so.
Kevin?
Yeah.
I would just add on that basically, like, PNGs, I only use PNGs, well, yeah, logos, and then any images that need a transparent background.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, JPEGs are much smaller and just easier to use, or it'll get that file size down.
So for my portfolio page, because I have mock-ups on different devices, those ones are transparent backgrounds. I can work around it, just make them JPEGs, but I guess that's why I had so many PNGs on there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I get that, because it is sometimes nice that it loads, or you can see some transparency through on the background and things like that. And you just have to weigh the, the performance versus aesthetics. Yeah, right. Sometimes. So if you want to do that transparent background kind of effect, maybe don't have it be a super large image, because that'll just drive up the image size. So, you know, it's just the pros and cons. You have to measure performance over aesthetics sometimes. So.
Something
and
I want to add is, sorry, Kevin, is that for social media images, if you're using something like Yoast SEO or something, you can always set a social media image for every, like a separate image that will show up on Facebook and stuff. You want to make sure that's a PNG, because Facebook and Twitter, they are really awful for they should display JPEGs really badly. So in that case, definitely do a PNG.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing you might want to look at, and this should clear up quite a few of your issues as well, is a caching plugin of some kind. One that I know would help with lots of the stuff that you're dealing with is WP Fastest Cache. And there's a free version, and it should, you know, boost your score quite a bit. There's also a paid version, which is just one payment forever on one site. But it will resolve probably 90% of your issues right now, as well as it has a built-in image optimizer, so that as you upload new images, you won't have to run them through, and it'll do it for you automatically. So that's WP Fastest Cache. And I don't know if I can't remember if we're supposed to be mentioning
No, you're
plugins, but
no, you're fine.
Yeah, they have a free version. Yeah. Okay. So Katie, anything else before I move on? Any kind of?
I was going to say thanks for mentioning this, Kevin, because she doesn't listen to me.
I'm not getting involved with that. You guys deal with that. All right. So we can move on. So next would be Cheryl. Oh, let's get back to her. So if you want to unmute Cheryl. Okay. So Cheryl, when you submitted yours, you are a little bit more SEO focused. Is that what you're looking for some more help with?
Definitely one of the things. I'm also experiencing slow loading time as well. So I was taking notes there.
Okay, I ran yours as well, so we can go through that in a second. So just we can get started on just some kind of visual things. I think we might. Are you using Divi?
Yes.
Okay. So I would like to see you give your header a little bit more space, only in that your logo is smushed.
I had,
so you can barely read it.
I had so much trouble with trying to work on this header. I don't know why.
Okay, so if under Divi, it's in theme customizations.
Okay.
And you'll see within the header, I don't know if I have a site that I could do it for you live, but within there, it allows you to adjust the size of your sticky menu. It also allows you to adjust the size of your logo within that. So
I think I remember how to get in there. I'll have to check that out again.
Okay. And the one thing with Divi that's a bit of a pain in the butt, especially, and you can see it your logo gets a little bit pixelated at certain pixel dimensions.
Yeah.
And the reason that is it's trying to shrink it down at proportionate dimensions. And so if that proportion is off by a pixel or two, sometimes you're going to get fragmenting your logo or a little, pixelation in your logo. Mm-hmm. So even if you bump, like you want to try and bump it up. So if you've got a logo that's, 300 by 200, you want to decrease it by I usually do it by 25%. So if you're going to bump it down to 75% or 50% size, and it usually allows the proportions to be consistent and keep the logo crisp. Okay.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, so overall, I found your site pretty easy to get through.
Thank you.
I mean, it's well laid out. You've got everything that I would want if I was looking for a math tutor. I would suggest if you're going for your menu, just be consistent. You've got lowercase, 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 and then the capitalization. Same with the FAQs.
I didn't notice that. Okay.
Yeah, so just for consistency's sake, you can go through that. and just make sure that's right. I did notice on your blog, so the main blog page is fine. It's the standard Divi grid format. But when I went into a post, it appears to be breaking.
Oh.
So the actual article part is fine until you get to the bottom and the widgets are out of alignment. So
I remember I don't know why I had so much trouble with that.
And I think it might be, again, in the options of Divi. You can go in there and you can change the blog view, or I think it's called blog view. And it just lets you change the format of the single post and what it displays and how it displays. So you can play around in there.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And then, so yeah, I ran yours through GTmetrix too. And like I said, with Katie's site, it's serving scaled images, but I think you only have one. But it's your logo. You're serving it's only 40 pixels high is how you're serving it, but it's 1,148 pixels is the size of the image that you're putting in there. So I would suggest, once you've decided on a size that you're going to display the logo, once you've done the adjustments, run it through the GTmetrix, see what it's being displayed at, and then upload a new file.
Great.
And just make sure it's only double the size of that, no more.
Right. Okay. Great. Wow.
And then, so your browser caching, yeah, you definitely want to get your hands on a caching plugin, maybe the WP Fastest Cache, or if anyone else wants to shout one out that they like, that one's just been my easiest.
Okay.
And it'll help with your load times as well, because you were sitting at 8 seconds, which is quite large. And again, with the optimizing images, you've only got 3 that need to be optimized, and they're not even that big. So, you're only going to save 2% and 22% and 1%, but it'll knock this off.
Okay, great.
Okay.
And I'm going to be adding videos. So, any tips before I get into that? Are there going to be math lessons?
Oh, okay. Well, and this will help with your other. Now, are these going to be private videos, or
no?
Are they just public? Okay.
Yep.
Then this will help with your SEO. Is put them on YouTube. Don't try to serve them directly from your site.
Oh, okay.
Put them on YouTube, and make sure when you're on YouTube, you give them a great title, a very descriptive title, and fill in that description and all the metadata as much as you can.
Okay.
Because Google owns YouTube, and YouTube is great for SEO.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. So, and then once you've got that done, all you have to do is you can embed the link into a blog post, and that's what you can share with people, is the blog post.
Okay. Thank you. That answers it. Okay.
Ultimately, we want to direct people to your site.
Yeah.
But by hosting it on Google, you get all that traffic, as well as any traffic that you're directing directly to your site. And so within YouTube, always make sure you're, even if you've got a blog post already made up, add that link to the description. Make sure your own website's in there, all that kind of stuff.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So these might get a little bit shorter because we're duplicating information. So, okay. So, did we want to do? And did you want to do volleyball? I think you said you had to leave.
Okay. One thing with Cheryl's site that I sort of noticed is you can certainly if you do like from the site check the SEO, like what the meta descriptions look like. You could definitely optimize some of like the meta descriptions and titles to help with SEO as well.
So do you have Yoast installed, Cheryl?
I think she said
I used all in one SEO.
All in one. Okay. Sorry.
That's a pretty good one too.
Yeah. So just make sure you're going through each page and adding that meta description and updating your titles if you need to. Are
Great.
you targeting Calgary only, or just
No,
one
I'm
under the sun?
actually targeting the US audience
Oh, okay.
because when they pay,
Their money's better than ours.
their money's much better. So it's just worked out. I only have one US
Like double.
client, but actually I just picked up 4 US clients because I'm on another platform, which is called OutSchool. So it's not my website, but I also am picking up more US clients.
Oh, that's great.
So I think my US audience is going to start to grow.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time for me. Unfortunately, not for the kids.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Great, really helps.
There's also been some excellent conversation happening around SEO in the chat with a bunch of suggestions in there as well.
Yeah.
Cheryl. Like Uber
Sorry,
Suggest.
I can't keep track.
That's okay. You don't have to. Don't worry.
All right.
That's why I'm there.
Oh, hi, Owen.
So
you better mute me.
Hi, Cheryl. How you doing?
Good. I'm toast now.
Sorry, I'm trying to have some dinner here too, so that's why I'm on off camera. But
Oh.
good seeing you again.
No.
Oh, hi.
All right. Okay, Mark's still there. I'm
Yeah, I'm
I
right
can't
here.
really see. Okay, perfect. Okay, so volleyball.
Yes.
This is a nice clean site.
That's because I don't know what I'm doing. Like everyone
That's
else.
all right.
So the general
Okay.
idea behind this is that I have a group that I play volleyball with, and we all love it. But I've been getting complaints that it's not competitive enough. We should run tournaments. We should do all these different things. And I'm going, well, okay, we can do this. And then I decided, it'd be kind of good to sort of have this where people can record their team standings and stuff like this. So I went and I said, is there Volleyball Canada? And of course, volleyball.ca was open. So I decided, well, since there is no national volleyball federation, I decided to create one. So here it is. Sat down, had some beers with some of my friends and came up with the training, which is introductory level, skills-based, and then team-based. Working with facilities that actually host volleyball. And the whole idea there is to say, we'll promote, the Acadia Rec Center on our site in exchange for, a better rate playing volleyball. Also, there are groups like the Calgary Sports Social Club and other meetup groups that run volleyball and basically turn around and say, well, we'll promote your group on our site if you give us, a preferential rate being part of your group. So that's in general the ideas. And in the background, I talked with a friend of mine who uses G Suite. And what I'm able to do is to put in all the emails and have it all go to one email. So it makes me look really big and sophisticated when it's actually just one email. So
always a good trick.
Yeah.
What I'm kind of looking at doing next is what plugin would be good to collect money for the classes and for signing up for tournaments. And
Okay.
like a booking system, I guess.
Okay, that's big because both of those are, I guess it would depend. Are you using any payment platforms now at all?
No, I'm not. This is my only site.
Okay. So for ease of use, I think the two recommended, PayPal is okay. I prefer Stripe over PayPal for ease of use. One, make sure you do with this is, this is outside of WordPress, but if you've got a corporation or something like that, make sure everything you're doing is under that, so that all the logins and whatnot is just not one person handling all the money, because that can get sketchy real quick. But you just want to make sure you're transparent to where the money's going, keeping track of where everything's going, and things like PayPal and Stripe allow you to do a lot of the accounting. And the payment fees or the processing fees are almost all the same everywhere. I think they're all in cahoots, but what do I know? So yeah, Stripe would be my preference, but PayPal works. And the reason I say that is because most booking softwares or any of the plugins, those are the two that seem to be the defaults and seem to be the free, the ones that have the free access to it. It's when you get into like Moneris and some of the other payment processors that you have to buy add-ons in order to connect.
Is that for credit card transactions primarily?
Yeah.
Is there any reason why you couldn't simply do e-transfer?
Well, there's no plugins.
No reason. It's just manual.
Yeah, it's all manual.
Yeah.
There's no plugins that will do e-transfers.
Yeah.
And yeah, you wouldn't either way. You wouldn't want to be transferring that information probably via forms or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess email's probably fine. You're transferring emails over forms anyways, if that's how you're going to e-transfer. But and there would be no automated way of doing that. You would have to, yeah. But in terms of booking software, there's lots out there.
Yeah,
and it all depends. And it really depends on what features you're looking for and what.
Yeah. Have you ever had that experience where you find this really cool plugin and you say this is going to be great because it has this particular thing, and then you go to try to find it again and you can't?
Too often, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there was a booking system which basically what it does is that it would take you and it would book you in, and basically would tentatively book you in until I would go in and confirm the booking. I saw that as a really cool booking system. It's amazing. And then I totally forgot where it was.
I know that WooCommerce Bookings does that, has that
WooCommerce?
feature. WooCommerce Bookings. So WooCommerce is a plugin, and then they have an add-on plugin. And that one is paid, which is the Bookings plugin, but the base WooCommerce plugin is free.
I think Events Calendar does it as well.
That's true.
But I'm not. Yeah, and I'm not sure if that's in their pro version or not. And again, so as with most plugins, most plugins will do 90% of what you need, and then for that extra 10%, you're going to have to pay. And so they've always got their little pro version that'll make you to get those features that you really need in order to make everything just 100%. So you just have to weigh in some of those costs, unfortunately.
Especially for bookings, that's usually a feature that's premium, what I've seen.
Yeah, especially if you're, if you're putting on a tournament and there's a fee involved. I know Event Calendar integrates with Stripe and PayPal, but that's definitely in their premium. So, yeah.
Okay. But that is a great solution though. Like the events, like by Modern Tribe, that's it for tournaments, and having like one inclusive solution. That's a good one to look into.
Yeah.
So, which one's that? Sorry.
I think it's just Events Calendar by Modern Tribe.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat in a sec here, Mark.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Other than that, I focus mostly on functionality over Sizzle when I come to this site.
I think it's a great site. I've only got 2 comments on the site that I think. One is this little menu. Get rid of it because you've already got the menu, right?
Okay.
So you don't need this and this, unless these are the extras.
In 2020.
Yeah,
this is a 2020 theme. There's no option for him to remove it.
Oh, really? So it's just if there's too many up top, it moves to here. Is that how it works? Okay. So then I would suggest including some more here. So, you've got your vision. When someone lands on the site, it probably shouldn't be our vision. It should be a large photo or a video of volleyball, which was going to be my next comment. As efficient as this is, I have no idea what volleyball is.
If you click on articles.
Okay.
So I was thinking of that that having that as my landing page, but I'm still trying to figure out how to set that as my landing page.
Oh, as the blog? Yeah, you should just be able to under settings reading. Yeah. And you get and under there it lets you pick which pages you're going to be your front page and which pages are going to be your blog page. Now the problem is you want them to be both. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's an option. One is like choose a static or make the posts page your front page. So you'll just choose that first one.
Okay.
Okay. So then I guess maybe try and group some of these. I like the idea of learn being up there, because I'm sure most of the people coming to this already know what the heck volleyball is. But if you're trying to attract more people and trying to increase, make sure that's prominent. I really, honestly, I don't know if vision should be your top. You should be moving these in the order of what's important to the people that are coming to the site, as opposed to what's important to you. So things like learning, facilities, groups. So maybe putting teams under groups, I'm not sure. But just kind of grouping these things a little bit better, so that you're minimizing the number of things that people are seeing in the menu, and it just kind of helps with the user flow a bit.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe there's a way of making the vision more of a pop-out kind of thing that you mouse over kind of thing. I'm not sure.
I don't know, and you know what? It's only this paragraph.
Yeah.
I mean, if you we're going to end up making, say, a standalone landing page as your main page rather than the blogs, having this as a paragraph within the body, along with a large banner image, stuff like that, then we can make that. I mean, that would work.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Andrew, did you have anything?
Mark, you made a comment about if a newsletter is the best way for regular outreach. Have you set up you've set up a newsletter with like a MailChimp or one of those kind of guys, or are you just thinking about it?
Just thinking at this point, again, this is a direct result of the COVID lockdown. And so what I'd like to do is I have about 40 or 50 people in Calgary and other people sort of all over the place who I'd like to keep in regular contact with and get them to maybe sign up with an email to get a monthly newsletter about volleyball.
Sure. It's a great way of getting in touch with people, because either that or you have a strong social media campain to get people to keep checking back. But depending on your audience, using newsletters can be very effective. You can, and I know there's ways you can automate it so that if every time you put a blog post in, that automatically generates an email message that goes out, or you can create a custom monthly newsletter like you're describing.
Yeah.
So there's many ways that. But no, definitely something to look into, because people read emails, so it still works.
Okay, and I've created a sort of a Volleyball Canada Facebook group. I've linked to the volleyball subreddit, and I've also linked on my Twitter as well. So, and sort of getting people to join in there and sort of posting content here and then linking the content to Facebook and then posting about it on Twitter and sort of just bouncing it back and forth. Is that an effective strategy?
Yeah, and just remember, at the end of any blog post or any content you share, at the end of any blog post, have some sort of call to action to encourage people to sign up for that. Make it really easy and for people to sign up for the mailing list, and then so once you've attracted them, they know where to go, and then you can make it easy for you to keep in touch with them.
And you figure that's MailChimp?
That was the go-to.
It's easy to get started with for free.
Yeah, it's not as good as it used to be, but
no, that's
still
true.
What's the flavor of the month?
Oh, I haven't created a new one in a few months.
Cassandra says MailerLite is great and free at first. I'm personally a ConvertKit fan. I use ConvertKit, and they have a free version as well for up to 500 subscribers. Another good one is SendFox. SendFox is kind of new to the game, and you kind of pay a one-time fee of $49 US, and that lets you have up to 5,000 forever, and then you can always add more. But yeah, MailChimp is definitely still lots of people use it, and it's still great for most people.
Okay, cool. I shall go shopping.
And then one, actually no, I won't go there. It's okay.
All right. So looks like I've only got one more because Craig isn't here. Craig? Don't see Craig.
No.
Okay.
No.
So we'll do William. All right.
Oh, cool. Whoa. Yeah.
Hey, look at you. Let me go to the front page.
Up on that big screen.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, William, and yours, just looking to improve content presentation and accessibility?
Yes.
So, the intent of the site is just strictly a blog? Is that kind of?
Yeah, it's just a blog. Basically, it's about how like ministries can integrate technology, so platforms for online presentations, just like strategies and ideas and suggestions, stuff like that.
Sure. Okay. So I think, I mean, yours is, it's pretty straightforward. It's a standard blog. So I mean, if this is the intent, there's not a whole lot you really need to do in terms of improvement. There are some things though, and the biggest being your widgets area.
Okay.
So you're going to want to clean this up and really almost get rid of most of it.
Okay.
The archives is really important. I'm sure blog stats are important for you, but no one else really cares. So I would say get rid of blog stats. This meta stuff is actually on here twice. So, and I don't think it needed on either side. So I usually get rid of this every time. Again, it's really only useful for yourself. You know, logging out entries, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. You know, if you want to include an RSS feed link and things like that, you can do that. But maybe put it alongside your other social media links, things like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I think you could clean up visually, you could clean things up because it's really distracting from the article, which is the most important item. So you want to make sure, you know, you just clean up this meta. So you just go into appearance widgets, and I believe, and you'll see it in the sidebar. And so I'm sure, and it's just all drag and drop, and I would just drag them out of there. And so really just your archives, maybe recent posts,
right,
those kind of things. Okay.
Oh, cool, great.
The other, let me just make sure. Yeah. Okay. So your YouTube, you should be able to just embed immediately, and is this was this a live stream? Oh, okay, so it's all your videos. Okay.
Yeah, it's from the church I eat and I attend.
Okay, so if you're not going to embed it, you might be able to clean it up at least, because it's, you know, you can add a link and then change what the clickable link is. So, you know, click here to view on YouTube or something like that. It just pretties it up a bit. And otherwise, you know, if you're going to have a link like that, it's always nicer to actually have a video that they can click, so they're not leaving your site. Okay. So you want to keep them here as long as you can.
So you're saying it's best to embed it?
Yeah, and most don't know about this theme, but most themes, you know, when you add a YouTube link, yeah, is it all? Okay.
Yeah, as long as you put on a separate line.
Yeah, I think they all do it. How they present depends on the theme, because sometimes it can be a bit messy, but you should be okay. But yeah, it'll automatically add the code for you now, so you don't even need to find that embed code on YouTube. So it's just the link is all you need.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Was there anything else?
The tags near the top, do those really actually work, or it's just like eye candy or something?
Unfortunately, those tags probably aren't going to work.
Okay, so I'll take them
For
off.
me, yeah,
Mhm.
for me, tags and categories are more for the user than they are for SEO and things like that. Even though
Okay.
there's some legitimacy to them a bit, but for
Right.
me, it's if I want to read everything about ministry, I'm clicking the ministry tag to find all the articles that you've written about ministry.
Okay.
So really be specific about what the categories or the tags that you're using so that they're useful to the person reading. And so just, you're not wasting their time.
Okay.
So don't, I mean, maybe they all are, but if every blog article you write has the same category, then, do you really need it as a category?
Right.
So it's really just to help people find the content they're looking for.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. All right.
I think that's it for me. Craig's not here, so.
But that's a big help. I really appreciate because when I had the template, I was going through it and changed it a little bit, and I was like, well, I'm not sure what else I should change or need to change, but so I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And one thing, I mean, the social media for your church is a little pixelated, so you might want to consider finding out what size this is.
Okay.
And just bumping up the image size a bit so that when it downscales the text. And again, this would be a candidate for a PNG file as opposed to a JPEG file. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I remember that from when you were explaining it from the other site about the PNG and JPEG stuff.
Yeah, so that might help here too.
Yes, sir. Sure does. All right.
One small thing I may look into trying is like on the homepage to see if you can just display the excerpts instead of the full blog post, because then people will be able to see more. Like right now, you got to scroll a long time to get to the next one. So if it's theme dependent, so it might be more difficult than it's worth. But if it's possible to kind of display just an excerpt version, so you may see the second, or should be able to see like a second blog post in the same screen, so people encourage people to scroll. And
so for those that don't know, the difference between content and excerpt is for an excerpt of this, you'd probably only get this amount of text, or not even, depending on how much you got in your first paragraph or whatever you put in the excerpt portion of your blog post.
Okay.
So then it shows you. I usually call it like the sales pitch for the article. It lets you write a little bit to get people enticed to see it, but it also, like Andrew says, lets you see a lot more blog posts in a row and allows people to then click to read the full article.
And since this is on WordPress.com, so if you go to Appearance and then Customizer, and there will be a section called Blog Settings, and you'll be able to just choose Excerpt View, and it will automatically convert all of your posts on the blog like homepage to excerpts.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't have to go and do it manually.
Yeah, but one thing you do have to do manually sometimes, though, is here, because this is basically if you don't add your own excerpt into it, it pulls the first 100 words or something like that. And so this is going to be what the excerpt is. And that's ugly.
Yeah.
So you will want to go into this post and just do your little sales pitch, your little elevator about whatever, elevator pitch about this blog post.
Okay. Got it.
Right. So I'll stop sharing so Andrew can start sharing.
Thank you very much. That is awesome.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, you gonna see my screen now?
Yes.
All right, great. Let's move you out of the way. Okay, so who did we? I think it was Scott. Unless someone I guess really needs to leave. I think I had Scott was on the list, the top of the list. So I guess we
Scott's
start with
here.
him. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw him there. Great. All right. So Scott. Okay, so I had lots of some ideas. Maybe, well, I guess first, tell me about your site. I know you said, well, you just said you're looking to increase your chances of landing a job. And I think I overheard you earlier that you were actually successful. So I guess, so that's good.
Happily successful. I got a part-time job, but to fill up my time and pay the bills, right? I like to have another part-time job or a full-time job. So at the same time, I still want to work on my portfolio.
Okay. No, it's always a smart move to keep your portfolio up to date.
Thank you.
A lot of, well, I'll only speak for myself, but yeah, I'm guilty of keeping my portfolio up to date for sure.
Yeah.
So no, it's good idea. First thoughts. So I'm looking at your site here. First thoughts is I can't, by your banner, I can't tell that you're a web developer. I probably think you are selling some sort of like mindset or something by your quote and like the and the whole, actually just get rid of this guy for now, with the button there. What I would really encourage you to do is basically tell people, like, tell you not about yourself, but tell the people what problem you're going to solve. Like, why are they here? Instead of having like a quote of yourself. And you can use the video you have here, perhaps. But what I would do instead is maybe show us like a screenshot of that video in there instead of like that neon play button, so that people kind of know what to expect when they go, like when they're gonna go to click on it. So that's the first couple things there is have a call to action to explain like, hey, why is someone here visiting you? What problem you're gonna solve? Like, how are you gonna help them, kind of thing. So explain so start with that. Explain your why, essentially, and why they would hire you.
Yeah.
And so I know this shows up below once I open it, and so I have to like refresh to get it to go away. But so hopefully if you have like a screenshot and if you click on it and it opens up as like a light box or a sort of like modal window or something, then that might be a little cleaner approach to doing it. I know this is not WordPress, so I know I would have to look into how to do that offhand, but
to do it.
Good. Okay.
The another approach that I thought about is I have the same video on the contact page. Sorry, the about page. Because this video is actually just about me. So I'm planning to remove that section completely. And when you click on that button, it will go directly to this page at this section. Do you think that works?
Well, one thing that I kind of noticed is your homepage. You could almost like everything you have your homepage is pretty much kind of repeated on your work about and contact page. So, which you kind of, I'd really kind of look that over. You can almost make it so a one-page site if you really wanted to. But well, I know you have digital pages for your feature work here, but I'll get to that in a minute. But so I would.
On the about page also have the references section as well. Do you want to click on that and scroll down to the bottom?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would put reference letters there. Testimonials are great. I would maybe take like snippets perhaps from those reference letters and kind of embed that, use that throughout to show like a social proof is showing like other people that will vouch for you, which is great. Everyone needs those. Okay. But I'm not sure if I would, keep this on your site. Like I would just try to find a nice part, like a sentence or two, or perhaps three, that shows that you know your stuff, that it'd be a pleasure to work with you, kind of thing. But you save this for like perhaps the interview if they ask. But yeah, I wouldn't put that on your website. I would on this page, I would certainly use your about page, your about section there. Perhaps part of it on your homepage, because your homepage doesn't say anything about you. You basically have a quote and you have your feature work, and then you have your contact form. It doesn't say anything about your company, your branding, what you do. Well, you can get an idea what you do, perhaps. Although your feature work is quite. Looking at that recruitment project and their photo, hopefully people don't think you're a magician, but it's it's still, there's yeah, some things you would want to, like, other things I would do is explain what you're about. Then in the future work, maybe explain maybe some of the tools perhaps, or the languages you work in to show your employer, like if they come across this, they're like, oh, I need someone who writes in PHP or Node.js or something. So it'd be worth putting that in there. I'd say, like, there's like a way you can do that.
The first topic is also mentioning about me as a magician. So it's a funny note when you were talking about magician.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a keep in mind. But and then maybe if it for a usability perspective, if it's not too much work, if you can do like a hover background color, dark color, so that when you hover over the boxes, that you can kind of see perhaps what these are about a little better, because they kind of like blend in. That might be a nice touch and also show your web skills too.
So the blurry, when you hover over it, you can see that it's go blurry, right? So basically, you were thinking about changing that blur into a color background. Is that what you mean?
There's a blur on it.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's very subtle. I would just
it looks
do
like
some
a drop shadow. Yeah.
Oh, around the text, you mean, or?
Yeah.
On the whole thing. Are you using Chrome?
Firefox.
Oh, okay. Do you want to try that on Chrome to see if that is a browser problem or some other problem?
Yeah. Okay.
It's there for sure.
Okay.
You read the text better.
Yeah, no, I'm on Chrome, and it's still a little difficult to read. I would add to Andrew's. So when I present on a portfolio, you don't feel you have to take a screenshot of the work. So like I'm looking at this Android, or you see it now, now you see it, now you don't. There's a lot of text on there. You can find like a free stock photo that relates to that, that's a little bit more eye-catching, that can then draw them into the work that you can show on the actual portfolio page. Then you can show them all the screenshots and things like that. You don't have to show a screenshot on the front. Because honestly, it looks like they're all different colors. There's no kind of, it doesn't look like it's one unified portfolio. It looks like it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, doing an overlay would be good.
Yeah. Sorry, Andrew.
No, that's a great point. And you could have, actually, yeah, to Kevin's point, you can almost put like, not grayscale or something, but to have a more consistent look for all the, you possibly could experiment to try to have consistent, like bringing in your, well, right now you have a lot of purple and blue, and that's your logo, which is fine. So you can also pull in maybe a third color in there to kind of pull it together a little more and make it a little more consistent. One idea also is, I guess in your future work here, you could have probably more information about the project here, so that if someone's like hovering and they're like trying to maybe find an example of a certain language or type of project, maybe you can put that information there, and it might entice them to click on it. Just an idea, though.
That's a good idea.
See if I had anything else. Oh, your video. I know I didn't play it that long. You don't need the fire. I would certainly get rid of the fire. Doesn't help you, because it. I'll just leave it at that. What else? Anything else? Oh, and well, you can always get an SSL certificate. That kind of a lot of people seem to like that, or it's kind of Google likes that in particular. That's the most important guy.
Sorry, Andrew, what certificate were you talking about?
SSL certificate. That's to make the HTTPS. Yeah, so that you don't have this little like red line across the lock on the URL.
Oh, okay.
Most hosts provide it for free, so.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, look up like something like Let's Encrypt. hopefully the host provides that or partners with it, and then it's free. It should be pretty easy to install, and so ask your host about that.
Okay.
So that's I think yeah, that's the main things. I can sort of nitpick other little things, but yeah, really trying to my biggest thing is kind of make sure you're solving the problem that people here, like, they want to get to know you, but you want to present the problem you're solving very clearly, and make it easier so like they know how you're gonna help them. Throw in that social proof that you have from the references to show that you have helped. You have the proof that you can do it, and you also have the work to prove that you can do it. And then your contact page has enough information, I guess. It should be good enough for. Yeah, I don't know. If you don't have any like social accounts or any other ways, then obviously you don't need it.
Do you think I should put like social media on there, like Facebook, that kind of stuff?
If it's a page, well, LinkedIn's one thing. Like if it's contact information, like it's your phone number or LinkedIn, like professional account. Other social media accounts, as long as they're using them, if you're active, then it could be worthwhile. If you don't, then it's not worthwhile.
Okay.
But you could throw in a sentence and say like that kind of, if you have one more opportunity to kind of like, hey, work with me, or like, or I'd love to like work with you if you need some help with sort of XYZ problem that you're solving, kind of things. So there's more ways to kind of encourage people to fill out the form and get in touch. So, Kevin, did you have any other things you want to add, or you're muted?
Sorry, I'm muted. No, I think it's, I was just typing. It's got great personality. I think you just need to make sure you're balancing the personality with showcasing your skills.
Yeah.
Because ultimately that's what employers really care about. They want someone they know they can work with, that's easy to work with, but also has at least the basics of the skills that they're going to be looking for. Because web developers are a dime a dozen, unfortunately, but being able to actually work with someone is the hard part. So, I mean, I like that you're showing your personality. So just make sure you balance that with the work that you're showcasing.
There's also a bunch of feedback in the chat from people that could be really, really helpful. So make sure you go through that too.
Yep. Thank you.
Good. Okay, who's next? Chris Lalonde. I don't think we've done that one.
Yes, hello.
Chris is here.
Great.
Yeah.
I just need to see. Now they don't. Oh, go away. Chris, is that? No, you're the Fish Creek one. Okay, Chris. Okay, you had more. Your questions are more about updates with WordPress in general, correct?
Yeah. I'm terrified to update plugins and the WordPress core. I've messed it up a few times, and then that's an expensive mistake. We've had this site. We got it in I think 2012, so it's a little bit old. Last year in 2019, we did a whole update with the guys that built it. They updated it, they cleaned it up. So it's running pretty well. It's quite a large site. It does a lot for us. I work with a nonprofit down in Fish Creek Provincial Park. So for us, being a nonprofit, the site is really important, and we're always directing people to the website, especially considering the ongoing pandemic situation. So it's great, but like I said, it always needs to be updated, the plugins. And then I get anxious when I have to do that, and I resist doing it. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. My first question is, do you have a proper backup solution set up? Or do you know how to, or do you know if you have is your site getting backed up? I should start there.
Yeah, it's backed up through VaultPress, and
okay.
whatever that is, the Jetpack. Also, the Canadian web hosting that hosts our site has it backed up. So
Okay.
there are backups.
Any know how to restore a backup or know where to go to get, like, it's one thing to have a backup done, but if you don't know how to restore it, then it's not very helpful. So I just want to make sure you're look into that if you don't know how to do it. So
well, I did a few years ago. I was using a plugin called Updraft. That was a free plugin, and I messed up the website, and then I went to get it back, and all the pictures were gone, or a lot of the pictures, so it didn't work properly. So no, I don't. I mean, I'm concerned about that. If I do have to restore it, you know, is it going to work?
okay, yeah, because if you that's one big key I think that'll help with your issue about updating is, like, if you feel once you feel comfortable with backing up, then a lot of the anxiety should dissipate a bit, because like the truth is, like, especially when it comes to like, especially like plugins, I don't know, maybe Aruba or Kevin knows a more finite stat, but like I think it's like over 70% of the updates are usually security fixes, which really shouldn't affect, like, you should be able to you should be able to confidently update it and not have to worry about it breaking or affecting your site at all. If you, and then, yeah, I know we could certainly do a whole meetup on website maintenance. And I'm pretty sure we've done those in the past. Kind of get an idea of getting more comfortable of reading through like a change log and looking for key things. Like, is it all just a bunch of security fixes, or there's a whole bunch of like functionality that's like being added that are like, maybe I should pause and perhaps create a backup here before I proceed with updating. Because a lot of the issues, especially with WordPress, unless it's a big WordPress update, say like going to 5.0 or something, or those, like, yeah, you certainly want to pause or maybe wait for a few days. But if it's a lot of the smaller ones, or if it's security issues, then it's something you want to jump on and stay on top of those things, because they're there for a reason. So that so if you had a terrible luck and someone actually hacked your site or something, then those security flaws are there to those security updates are there to help prevent that from happening. So I would certainly, it's something, yeah, you do definitely want to keep on top of those.
Can I chime in real quick?
Sure.
So do you know, so I did a quick look at the code as well, and I'm seeing that there is a staging server for this site. Do you have access to it?
Well, that might, is it on Canadian web hosting, or do you know where the staging server is? Is it like on the cPanel?
It's on AWS. So who is your host?
Canadian web hosting.
Okay, Canadian web hosting. So Canadian web hosting doesn't provide like a really proper staging environment. So staging environment is basically like a place where you can test things, and then if everything looks good, then you can say, okay, make this real, make this live. And so in a lot of different, good hosting companies, well, good as in the ones that I like, are going to provide you with a staging server for free. So what you would do is you would say, hey, I'm gonna update everything on my staging, and if something breaks, it's okay because your actual site didn't break. And then you can troubleshoot that, figure out what went wrong, and then once everything is fixed, you can say, okay, looks safe, now we can push it or to live, or go to our live site and update it there. So hosts like Flywheel, WP Engine, SiteGround. What's some other good ones that people like here that have staging?
Media Temple.
Those are the ones. Media Temple. Ooh, Pantheon. These are good hosts. Pardon?
Pantheon is the one I use, and in fact, you can set up a free account.
Yeah.
Dev test. You can, set everything up without paying for free if you want to test stuff out. So the Pantheon won't charge you until you go live with your site.
Right. So those are good hosts. I switch a lot of people off of Canadian web hosting like on a monthly basis because of this and a few other issues actually. So it could be worth considering moving to a host that provides you that solution, because then even if WordPress, and WordPress is a great like solution, and having these backup solutions is great, but when you have a staging server, then usually you also get free backups that are daily that you don't have to worry about on the same in the same place, and you have the staging server, which in my opinion every website should have. So that should take away a lot of the headaches.
Okay, great.
Yep. Nope, thanks, Aruba. That's a very great point. Did you have any other questions with the site, Chris?
No, it was just that. So you're saying it's good to update then, like everything should always be updated to the latest version.
Yeah, unless it's like a really large update, then like worst case you may like pause a couple days or something in case there's like a small fix for that change. But if I always look at the change log, if it's just a whole bunch of security fixes, then like use like 99% of the time it's totally safe to do it. But yeah, and if you're worried at all, using the staging site will also like save your bacon. Like it will just like reassure you that okay, yep, the changes are not going to change anything. I didn't lose any photos here. Everything's displaying properly. Let's push it live, and then you're good.
Yeah, we did have a staging site. It was on our cPanel. So our IT guy, he basically cloned the website and it lived on our cPanel, which was okay. I could play around with it. And he just hasn't got a chance to do that yet with this current site.
Right,
Okay.
but it's not automatically connected to your live site. So you can't say like, oh, I'm going to make some changes and then and then click one button and have it show up on your live site. But a proper staging environment will actually let you do that. What your guy created for you is better called a test, like a testing, like a playground or a test environment, which is a little bit different from a staging one.
But you're saying Canadian web hosting doesn't offer that? Doesn't offer staging?
Someone can set it up for you, but they don't offer that as part of like, it's not built in. Someone would have to like create that for you, which is, in my opinion, not worth it because other hosts already provide that service, usually in the included fee.
Great. So are you guys able to tell what version of WordPress this is using right now? Because I can't seem to find that information.
Oh, so if you go in your dashboard and click on the WordPress symbol in the top left corner, it should tell you what version it is, but Andrew's gonna just pull it up in here as well.
Should be able to find it.
Yeah.
What am I looking for again?
I'm pretty sure it's on 5. Just Command F WordPress.
5.2.6? No,
yeah.
That's Java. No.
I think he is at 5.2. Looks like it. Nope, that's past it. Darn.
Hold on.
It looks like you're a couple of versions behind. If I was gonna, not there. Nope. Is your chat?
If you log in on your dashboard, the very first page, it's in the bottom right-hand corner as well, I think.
Yep, that's the fastest way.
So to update the WordPress, is it essential to like deactivate all of the plugins? Because I've done that before, where I deactivate them, then update it, then reactivate them all.
Only if you have a problem.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. You only would deactivate them all if you have a problem, and that's a strategy to debug which problem like is conflicting, like which plugins conflicting with another or something. But yeah, generally not. No. I thought I saw there was one other question about, was it? I saw in the chat. Lori, you had a question about updates since we're talking about that. Oh, is that your question was for?
Yeah, it was Lori Armstrong. Would I ask a question here about updates? Yeah, ask a question. There we go.
So with the
I don't know if
site-
there's any advantages to using a Canadian-based web hosting. I know that some nonprofits have that in their like requirements, or they have like some privacy reasons for why they want to. But in general, it's okay if you don't. But like, for example, I know Flywheel and WP Engine, which are like the ones that I use the most, they have Canadian servers. So if you were like, if you really wanted to make sure that it's on a Canadian server, with some of the big ones will provide you that option. Green Geeks is also awesome, actually. Our WP Alberta, so our site for this meetup is actually hosted on Green Geeks.
So Laurie is asking, so with a staging site, to ensure everything is working properly, is part of the process going through and testing all the different plugins with a large site and a lot of plugins? How do you know if there's a problem after an update? So you can probably usually see.
Who wants to take that?
Yeah, you usually see. I mean, it depends on what the problem is. So, excuse me, a lot of this stuff could be visual. So you may see PHP errors along the top of your page, things like that. Sometimes you don't see them unless you go through all the pages. So we had, for instance, I had a plugin conflict with WooCommerce between two different WooCommerce plugins that for some reason they weren't updated properly by WooCommerce. So they didn't play nice together. And we didn't know that until someone tried to make a donation, and the pay what you want, just the Ajax wasn't working. So sometimes you don't see it until you go through all the pages. And if you've got a large site like that one, you just don't know until someone tells you, unfortunately. But
a plugin I like to use. Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say a plugin I like to use is called Query Monitor. Now, it'll tell you a lot of different things, some that you might not understand. But if you activate the plugin after you do an update and then jump through a few pages, if there's any errors, it will tell you right away, just in your WordPress bar. And it'll tell you where it's coming from. So if it's coming from a plugin, you'll know. And then you can either deactivate it or troubleshoot it and see what's happening. So that's one way to like kind of check.
Another, if you're on some hosts, like I know on Flywheels, they've got an actual, you can turn on the debugging mode. And so as long as if you're logged into the site, it shows you all the nasty errors that you might be popping up within within each plugin. And it'll tell you, it'll say, blah, 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 can't call up Yoast SEO, blah, blah, blah. And so you know that that's the plugin that's causing the issue. So you can then deactivate it or roll back or update it and try and solve the problem that way.
One thing I just want to add that's critical, I think, when you're testing your changes is clear your cache first, your browser cache, because sometimes you'll have a cache version of your site in your browser and you'll do the updates, you'll go check, everything looks great. And then after a while, you realize you didn't clear your cache and your images are broken or something like that. So make sure when you update the site, clear your cache and then test your site.
Yep, definitely a good point.
Yeah, like Aruba said.
And your caching plugin.
Yeah. Is it Command Shift? I think you can just do Shift refresh.
No, that doesn't clear your cache. It just clears the cookies. Just the ones that it did right now.
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
Cool. Okay. I guess we can move on. Okay, who's next? Paul, Senior Real Estate.
Do you want to know my issues? I don't think I put them down.
No, you didn't.
Yes, please.
So I'd love to hear it. Yeah.
Did you like all of them or just the top 17?
And only related to the website, no personal.
Well, I can't get anybody to bring me a drink, Kevin. basically, I've created this out of passion, and it looks not bad from what I'm, from the vision I had, but functionality, I keep going in circles trying to get the SEO to work, and I'm not getting results. So I'm trying to fix site structure, and I don't understand it. And then I end up with speed issues, so I end up upgrading my hosting with WebHost Canada. Thanks for the for the confidence. And I'm just kind of in the spot where I'm going in circles. So maybe you can tell me where to start and what the biggest problems are.
Okay, well, you mentioned speed, so we can always go like using a GT metrics report, not terrible. Like, so you've done a good job with that. Like, yeah.
You that at the last meetup, and I actually went in and fixed some of it.
Actually,
Yay.
those are.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, so that's not bad. Requests are low. Like the speed overall is very solid. Like you can nitpick with a plugin or something, but
I think with your skill level, getting to 93% is pretty amazing. So I wouldn't, I would focus more on the usability side of things.
I'm at a stage where I've been 2 years in this and way over budget, and have been taken to advantage of a bit by people that were supposed to know more than me. And the listing part of it, the real estate end of it's fine. The getting people to find it and the speed of that end of it is a little slow. But it's got custom stuff that I couldn't find anybody who, developers can't do it. I've got a plugin coming out of the Ukraine doing it, which is fun.
What part is through the listings part you're having the issue, or the plugin for?
So if you go into that, you can go down and you'll see there's all of these are custom searches designed for seniors to make it easy. So instead of having to go through a whole search, they can go in and they can get all the villas available, and then there's a custom search at the side that allows them to bring it down into communities and other things and price ranges, etc. when it's working. So nobody in North America would do that for me. So it's close to being there, but I'm not getting anybody finding it.
Okay. So, well, okay, so yeah, so it went back to like the overall structure of the page. So to get people to land on here, like we could look at, like I'm sure you can add check the SEO to see if you can optimize the meta description for this page. But before we even get to there, we can look at, wow, you have a lot of listings.
Yeah, that's all a Calgary. That's why you can, but it's, what I want to do is make it so it's easy for people to see. I was told that the homepage was too busy. I've been, my blogs are ugly.
Yeah, so like my initial reaction is like, well, it's not the top one, but I would certainly spend a little money on a logo. That could, like, not going to fix your SEO or anything or getting people searching, but it's just like a nice step. You don't really need to welcome anyone anymore. You can just, like, as I was mentioning to Scott, like, you just want to present the problem that you're going to solve. So when someone lands there, they know, okay, this is about, obviously you're trying to help them find their dream house. So I think I've read that from below. Well, like, tell that up here. Don't sort of hide it in text that I can barely read on the side. Because that just blends into the background. It's very difficult. And yes, I have a sort of wider screen, so perhaps maybe on your screen it's not as more centered, but yeah, like, so I'd get rid of that. I would work on think of a call to action that would entice people, that it would essentially welcome them without saying welcome. It would, and then explain how you're going to help them find those your dream house, and then basically follow that up with Well, you can follow it up with introducing yourself here, which is fine. I would ditch a quote that I said myself though, or it sounds like you. So I wouldn't quote myself. I would just introduce your credentials here. That's fine, and a picture that I would make probably a little more prominent, so it doesn't look that's more like attached to it instead of sort of, to me it's sort of floating on the side here. Then I would go into, like, you have four like four main areas here, so that's you can easily have sort of like four sort of sections of like the four like having four columns introducing the four areas to make it really easy for people who are scrolling down the page. Like they find out, they know they're in the right spot, that they know that you can solve their problem. You explain that you have the credentials to do it, and then you show them how you do it. And you can have four columns, one for each of these search listings if you wanted to, and to make it so they can click straight into those pages. You also have a lot of information to. Is this your blog? All these planning options here?
Those were initially pages for static information that people would, if I got to see it SEO right, would attract people to the overall site.
Okay.
Like, and I'm in that age group, believe it or not. So I kind of know some of the things we need.
Yeah, no, and that's great. Because you can use those, you can create like another sort of kind of call to action area that show like, do you need help with planning? Here's some tips and tricks to help you with your planning, or give us a shout. We'd love to hear from you and help you in person or virtually these days, or something like that. Yeah, like you can use, you have a lot of content here, and you just need to bring it more, make it easier for people to find it, and sort of link it more with the, starting with your homepage. And so like I'm a big fan of, yeah, solving the problem, show your credentials, show how you're going to do it. If you have any sort of testimonials, you can throw that in there too, and then finish with some sort of call to action, whether it's like to encourage them to, like, they know what the next step is, which for you is probably like getting in touch. That's so I was sort of thinking of it sort of that way. Yeah, get this COVID information here. It's sort of floating and doesn't really serve much of a purpose on its own. So like I see you have it here. Oh yeah, watch for typos. I noticed like information is a typo there, and I think I noticed policy is a typo there.
Wow.
So those are little things, but yeah, like. I'm trying to think what I would do with the, I don't know if I would put that, like, it's a lot of real estate in your navigation. So I might rethink doing that, or having, like, I would probably modify that a bit as well. But yeah, and also like, welcome to, again, you don't need to welcome anyone. I would just say like your one-stop shop for Calgary senior real estate solutions or something like that. If you want to have a tagline displayed, otherwise you can have like a nice logo, and that would also work for design.
No, I can just remove that if I can. Pretty sure I can figure that out. And no, that's yeah. You just gave me some really good ideas already, because putting that listing, I'm using Site Origin PageMaker, because that's what recommended by the real estate plugin. But I could take search listings and basically have that come up with four columns, and one of those in each one of those, and simplify it. It would look so much better.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yep, that'd be my strategy, is looking at just make it easy, make it like from top to bottom. Like think of the journey that the user is going to go through, and then think of what kind of questions they're going to ask and how you're going to answer them. So I was hoping that your search listing page, sometimes it's almost like a mini landing page for the subpages. So if it was, I was going to say like almost copy that, but you featured in listing, so that's okay.
No,
but yeah,
the reason for that is everybody builds real estate sites based on a whole lot of flashy real estate on the the front page, and mine is about service and who I am and why I'm qualified and why they should hire me, and provides the custom searches. But I'm going at it from the service end rather than the product end. If that's clear. In other words, everybody's got a pictures of houses on the front page. I'm trying to get somebody to hire me because of who I am and what I do.
Yeah. So play up. Playing up who you are, that you want to help people. You can certainly do that, and then show them how you're going to help them.
Yeah.
Kevin, did you?
Lots of suggestions in the chat as well.
Yeah, I saw that. I got to learn to spell. The other issue I'm having, and I don't know, I'll probably have to find somebody to give me some help, is the text. I have to get the text into larger fonts because I am targeting seniors, and also get the text into different colors, and that's where I'm probably going to have to find somebody that can do that easily, or teach me that at some point. If anybody's listening, I'm certainly it's certainly going to, providing I can get everything adjusted a bit. That's got to happen.
For typos, I would install Grammarly extension. I think they have a Chrome extension, and that will highlight, do under just Word. It'll help capture a lot of your typos. So you can start there, and their grammar is also pretty decent too. If that's a problem, I haven't looked that closely in the copy, but there's no excuse for typos. So you really got to clean that up. So.
I'm really embarrassed when I saw information not spelled right, and a lot of stuff I write in Word and move over.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So
Word should catch that too.
Well, yeah, but those were in headings and stuff mostly. So no. Well, no, that's I don't want to take all your time. There are other people that need help, but
one thing, Paul, as you said, you're moving from Word.
Yeah.
If you're copying and pasting from Word, make sure there's a little Word icon in the content editor.
Yeah.
Make sure you click that first, and then paste. Because when you copy and paste from Word, it sometimes can bring in a whole bunch of HTML with it. And so you'll get paragraph tags and little style tags. And if you've been messing around with fonts in the sizing in the Word, it can sometimes bring that over into WordPress as well. So even if you do sort out your overall sizing issue on the site, it might not override the code that you've accidentally copied and pasted into it. And you don't even see it until you hit the code or the text editor in the back end. So just make sure you're copying in the clean. So
Notepad might be a good idea. Somebody suggested.
It always works. Yeah. One more step, but it does work.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
I've come a long way, so I want to get it finished. Thanks so much.
There's a lot of great stuff there. You need to just clean it, make it a little easier for people to find what we want them to find. So good. Kevin, did you have anything else, or are you good to move on?
Move on.
Okay.
Christina, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Oh. Yeah, I just know she's signed up.
You shouldn't. You
No.
You have to unmute yourself. Okay.
No, I haven't taken a full look at the site, but just from what I've seen so far, it's either been, it's all been addressed. The accessibility is, it'll be good. Bump those font sizes up, and if you think, don't be afraid to go a bit bigger than you think.
Yeah, as I said, that's in coding. That's why it's been left to the end. I haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah, although a lot of themes will have like set your basic body text font size, so you can like set it to like 20 or something, so it's like a solid large font given the demographics. But that might speed up certain things. Although if you're using a page builder on top of that, then the page builder would overwrite those. But so
Page builder usually has a place to set it to, though.
yeah. Okay. So who's next? Do we just have just the one, I think, left? HTSL.
Helen?
Oh, yeah.
Helen Lynn is, I don't think she's here.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, nice. Has Craig showed up? Because I didn't do his.
No.
No. Okay. So have we gone through? I think we've gone through everyone's site.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Does anyone
That's
want their
awesome.
site? Does anyone want their site critiqued
Yeah.
live?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
tear
won't
it
even
apart-
have time
tear
to
it
think
apart.
about it before.
Yeah.
Ooh, Lori wants to. Share your link, Lori. You're
Maybe a little
brave. You're
little of both.
brave.
Canada.
Hannah, Alberta.
Cool.
Love Hannah.
Pretty colors, hey, Aruba?
Oh, yes.
That sounded like an inside joke.
Yeah, that's an inside joke. I don't know what the heck that is.
Aruba uses those
Yeah.
colors on one of our sites. Similar. I'm sure
Yeah.
they're not exactly the same, but
It's just in the color palette that I personally really enjoy.
It's a good site.
Yeah, no, fresh colors, and nicely used.
Am I unmuted?
You are now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited. Don't ignore that for right now. And maybe for the next 6 months, the way my life is going these days. So our municipality just started a whole rebranding project in November. The new logo and a tagline.
Congrats.
Where the colors are coming from. And then they contracted out the web design based on my input as to wanting to use WordPress. I'm self-taught, but there's some things that I'm not happy about and I don't know how to fix them. So it was hosted with a local provider. And when I went with some of the challenges, he said, yeah, it's time for you to move on. So I had, no idea where to go. I ended up with Bluehost,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it is a host.
They're a good host for sure.
Yeah.
But they don't provide a staging
No.
option. But
No, they don't.
No, but they have really good automated backups.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that a staging thing would be a feature when I signed on for a couple of years to get the deal. So anyways, that's probably going to stay where it's at. So yeah, I've just moved that over to them. The site designer likes Divi. I had never worked in Divi. My research had told me that it can bog a site down. I tried to get her not to, but that was her comfort zone. It wasn't my call. So it is built using Divi. There's quite a few plugins. And I find it at times to be very, very, very slow. And I don't.
Yeah, I find the Divi builder can be cumbersome and slow if you don't have a great host. I'm just going through.
Ashing will help that.
On the back end too. Because the front end, it seems fine on Divi.
WP Rocket would.
It's the back, yeah. The back end is where I find Divi really constrained.
There is a caching plugin. Gee, I think it, now I don't know. I think it's Bluehost. Now I wish I had my second monitor. I'm just on my first one. But anyways, they had recommended or said that the caching plugin that I was using was good.
Lightspeed?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, but the Lightspeed doesn't improve on the back end. So like when you're actually editing things, it's still going to be slow. But like, for example, WP Rocket, it has a feature to optimize on the back end as well. But it's a paid plugin, but it is very good.
But just because I'm working in the back end and it's taking forever, that doesn't mean the front end is slow.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I'm willing to pay a little bit for sanity.
Yes. Sometimes just because you've paid for a host for 3 years, you don't want to switch because of that. Sometimes it's worth paying the extra money to just abandon it and go somewhere else.
And usually within
sometimes you can force them to give you money back.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, and I've done that before with GoDaddy because they're horrible. Sorry if anybody. I don't like them very much, but usually they have like a 30-day trial as well. So I don't know when you signed up for Bluehost, but you can usually get out of it within the first 30 days. Get your money back.
Host upon. That's who it is.
Oh, that's your host?
Yeah.
Host upon.
Yeah.
I don't know them.
I've only had one client use them. I haven't had any big issues with them. Not as solid as the other ones.
Yeah, but on a municipality site of this size, I would probably err on the side of someone bigger and unfortunately more expensive. But you know, like
they might not
WP
necessarily
engine.
be more expensive.
No. But you'd want, something with built-in staging on a municipality site is, I don't know if it's even an option.
Okay,
You would want it.
Engine, SiteGround, Pantheon.
Flywheel.
Flywheel.
Flywheel and WP Engine. Yeah.
Yeah, you have a lot of pages here.
And
so I wouldn't cheap out on the hosting.
Okay. Yeah, and a lot of pages in the back end because when she built it, she brought it all over from our Joomla site. And,
oh yeah.
Yeah, and so a lot of the pages were consolidated into one, but they have the bookmarks down the page rather than a separate page. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm saying. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thank you. So anyway, she didn't delete those old pages. So before I delete them, I want to make sure they're actually there.
Been properly transferred.
Content and properly transferred, exactly. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's taking time.
So one thing I would mention in terms of design, and just accessibility, in all the menus, we'd probably want to have another hover state. So when you're hovering over the menu items, you get the little Mickey Mouse hand, but it'd be nice if the link actually changed the color, so you know that it's something that's clickable. So no, you go to town office and you click over the mayor's greeting. As you hover over, it should change from white to something else, just so you know that
and
it's.
There should also be a focus state.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So if someone were only using a keyboard, or if they were using a screen reader, this would be for a keyboard user, someone who needs that. When they tab to get to different links, right now, there's no way to know which link is selected because there's no focus. Usually it's like a blue border or something. So having that is really important too for accessibility, especially on a municipality site.
Yes, I'm aware of that. I didn't realize it was called focus state. I'm not happy with the size in the menu.
I was going to say on the accessibility train, we need to bump up the font there too. Even your body text is quite small.
Oh, and that I had her bump up for sure.
Sometimes You know, you want to go off of a visual, right? Like how big does it look? Because different fonts can have the same pixel size, but be different. Oh, stop right there. Hold on, scroll down a little bit so that the, no, the other way. You've got a hanging sentence, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Where are we at?
Sorry, that just caught my eye and I couldn't let it go. But yeah, different fonts, even if they say the same, like if they're all at like 16 pixels, some are bigger and some are smaller. Some fonts actually can be quite small at a 16 or an 18 pixel. So you want to make sure that it's not just a matter of we need it to be whatever pixel size. You want to make sure that when you see it, that it's a decent size.
Okay, so ignore the number and go by what
it looks like.
By what it looks like.
Right, like the font in your button, I wouldn't go any smaller than that.
Oh,
for body text.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'd agree, especially because it's kind of text heavy and your line width, your text width is like fairly long. Like I would love to see that be a little bit shorter. Our eyes, we don't like to see like such long lines, especially when the text size is so small. People lose focus, they get distracted, or they have to read the whole line again because they forgot what the beginning of the line said. That's very common.
Columns there with different information in each column so that.
Yeah, that could be a good way to do that too. Yeah, but as a rule of thumb, and this will depend on font size, your width of your text, like how long the line goes, should never be more than 750 pixels. Rule of thumb. Depends on how big your font size is, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like he was, I'm guessing, copy and pasted from Word as well, perhaps. It's funny how there's like double spacing and single spacing all over the place and triple spacing even. But that's just nitpicking stuff. I was told a long time ago, this is a slight tangent, I guess, that whenever you have like a double space after a paragraph, it shows that you're more than 40.
I was told that too. I know. I'm more than 40.
So any emails and copy is always single space. And I'm not even 40, but just still.
Just, you know, that can actually, if the stars align in the wrong ways, if that sentence got bumped down to the next line, it would actually be indented by one space because the computer doesn't know how to deal with it. So that's like the downfall of the double space too. I've seen it happen, and I had a client message me, there's something wrong. This is all wonky with the alignment. And it was because there was a double space in there.
Ah, yeah.
So something else I'm noticing is that the mobile menu there's something wrong with it. Yeah, Andrew, do you want to make your screen a little smaller so we get the mobile menu, or yeah, responsive mode?
So that leads to the example of where I said, how do you know everything's working on a site like this when you like? I'm kind of like
you have to do extensive testing, especially during a launch.
Do you guys? Oh boy, I don't have time for that. Okay.
Well, that's why you get your person to do it. Whoever made it, that should be part of the contract.
They don't have a contract.
No.
So
if you click on the menu, the top one, yeah. And then hover on any of those. Oh, it's not doing it anymore. Or maybe it's just doing it on mine in Chrome. In Chrome, what I'm finding is that when you hover on it, it shows up, like the sub menu, it shows up really large and not on the actual page.
This being the sub menu or the next?
No, the next level.
Okay.
I can't even get them to show up.
Oh, yeah.
Click.
It's the mega menu's not showing.
Yeah, it's not the mobile version. Yeah, I'm getting the same thing in my browser.
So I need to teach myself the mega menu. Okay.
If there's a mobile setting in the mega menu plugin, then it might be turned off.
Okay.
And Cassandra has a good point that the logo. When you click on it, it should take you home, but it doesn't. So
Yeah.
that's important to make happen.
Okay. Good.
So,
My biggest
oh, that's kind of
my
funny.
biggest piece that I'm getting out of this right now from you guys is that caching front end versus back end. I had no idea.
Yep.
So that's huge right now. Thank you.
No problem.
Good.
Oh yeah, Nat, good link for accessibility using the Wave link. I haven't used that in a while.
WebAIM one, yeah.
So have you all just been hovering over that mobile menu? Because
I was hovering over it, yeah.
I just went on my phone where hover is not a thing, and you have to click. And it looks like the mega menu is working, but not well.
Yeah, it needs some resizing, and it's jumping to the middle of the menu as opposed to.
Yeah, because when
that's what I was seeing too.
Like, let me see if I can get this so that you can see without my face.
Yeah, that's exactly what mine is doing too.
Yeah. Okay.
So it needs some attention. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. It would be worth it to check your analytics. So if you're using Google Analytics or Jetpack Analytics or something like that, and see how many of your users are mobile users. Because if there's a lot of them, then the mobile issues should be addressed like urgently.
Okay. Well, it's over the years, it continues to go nowhere but up. It just it increases. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Excellent.
Interesting. Okay.
Anyone else feeling brave?
I promise it's painless. It's excellent.
Oh yeah, oh, it's good speed, and you can do a small tweaking there for some images.
I did it. It's just the logo that could be.
Oh, easy fix then.
Yeah.
Good. No, solid score though for at least
so
testing.
Can I just ask? So I just need to go to that Panda Leaf logo _blue for PNG and just size it down.
Yep.
Yeah. So right now it's showing as 1,000 by 1,000, and it's displaying, or it's supposed to. It only needs to be 228 by 228.
Oh, all right.
Another thing you can do if you've got big images is I like to run them through tinypng.com.
Yes.
Before I upload them.
Yeah, Kevin shared that resource right in the beginning.
All right, so we got Cassandra. Or, did I spell that right?
Yep.
30-second load time. Ooh, that's interesting.
That's concerning. Let's see why.
I guess I'll just.
Sandra, you can
jump
always
right to
unmute
GT.
yourself and
Yeah.
chat with us.
What was that, sir?
I was just saying to Cassandra that she can unmute herself and chat with us.
Okay, I think it might be the gallery page that's the big. Well, it's all pictures, isn't it? I mean, it's an art site. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you really have to be careful not to upload those like obviously not PSDs, but high resolution photos will really kill the score and the speed. So yeah, like that's cool.
It's a beautiful site, though.
Mm-hmm.
Your homepage at least doesn't load slow.
A really nice theme I bought, so I thought it was cool.
You know, it's funny. Why are you getting a 30-second load time?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't looked at it since. And then I went and got oh, so okay, so now it's better.
Yeah.
It depends on the page too. Yeah, I got 1.7.
It's probably the galleries. Well, then I put in a cache. I can't remember which one I got in the end. Was it WP3 or Total Casual? I can't remember which one I eventually picked. And then I got is it Optimize? I'm paying for it to optimize.
Yeah, auto
the photos,
optimize.
shrink them. And that was interesting because in the last WordPress update, I got an automatic email saying there was some issue with that plugin, and I contacted them and they said, yeah, it's fine. We know about it. Not really doing anything. It was some Ajax thing that wasn't working.
Short pixel.
Yeah. So it's okay now, actually, looking at it. That's reassuring because I just went, well, I've tried everything that, you know, I could think of sensibly. I'm not a developer. I'm just really newbie. You know, I'm just learning, but it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I love doing it. I can spend hours doing websites. Fantastic.
Yeah, you made nice use of the theme that you bought. So
the gallery one is the tricky one, the galleries page, because that's where I've got so hard to find a gallery plugin that would see what I mean. Now that's a bit slow, isn't it? But
you know what? I put it into that page into GT, and you're still at 96% and 3.3 seconds.
Yeah, I did the same. Yeah, so the caching.
You're doing okay.
The caching is working. One thing I found, and it may be the caching plugin, if you're logged into your site and then you go to it, it may run slower because there's a setting on some of the caching plugins that say don't show cached version when logged in.
Yes, because otherwise,
right?
like when I'm changing things, I'm not.
Exactly. So you're not getting the benefits of any of that cache. So you're loading it yourself, and you're right. It could be loading 30-second every time. But
also, I thought,
your
it's
users,
got
okay.
lazy loading. So I thought, well, maybe when it's doing it, because it's, for me, it's actually loading everything and then telling me that took 30 seconds. And I thought, I don't really care, because if it's lazy loading, you know, it's only loading as you scroll the page. So I don't really, do you know what I mean? It doesn't really matter if you're enjoying scrolling down, then.
Yeah.
Then.
But one thing I really like to do is open up a incognito browser or private browser, whatever your browser uses, and then load the site that way. Then you can really see how someone else is seeing your site without all the caching and, you know, that kind of that first person landing on your site kind of deal, and how they're seeing it.
Thank you very much.
One small thing that I might use because I'm particular about it was on your blog. Take advantage of the fact that like it just ends in ... Like Kevin mentioned earlier, it's just your like mini sales page spot. So you can take advantage. You can use this opportunity to tell more about what the user is expected to read, and so make it a little more enticing to click on.
Yeah, that's true, because I was lazy, so I just let it auto excerpt it. I didn't put in I could put a little, I could choose what I put, couldn't I, in the little choose
in
an
the
excerpt
section. Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah, no, I think everything else without going page by page. I'm just curious, like you have a lot of, oh wait, where'd it go? For your order form, I don't know. I'm always a fan of like when it comes to contact forms, don't only give them what you absolutely need to get them to like contact you. Don't put anything extra. Like I understand the name of the painting, but do you really need their address like right off the bat? Like you're still gonna go back and forth probably. Are you still gonna have they're still gonna email them back to confirm everything?
Okay, so I could just say instead, contact me below, tell me where you live, you know, and not have an address box, and not even that'd be
Just like one less box to fill in. It's not very.
And I could take out the first name. I don't really need. I mean, yes.
Yeah, you can actually.
It does take a lot of space, and The only thing with this theme too, I got stuck with. I haven't yet got a pop-up, I don't think, for signing up for the mail thing, but I'm working on that eventually.
It doesn't have to be a pop-up. It could be like a sticky thing or like a slide-in thing.
Yeah. There's one at the
pop-ups work, but people hate them.
with this theme, it's a lovely theme, but there's some limitations. You know, it's got a fixed homepage, so it's got widgets still, like it's a widgetized front page. So I sort of can't. I have to take something else out if I want to put a newsletter in there. Do you know what I mean? I can only got so many spaces. I think was my understanding of it.
Well, it uses Genesis. So Genesis has like a widget and a plugin that pops in newsletter stuff. So Christina might know the link for that one.
The e-news widget. And also,
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm thinking
using Genesis, then that's good. So the widget areas, you can put more than one widget into each of those areas too. They'll be styled. So each of those widget areas will have a certain styling. So so whatever you put in there will take on the styles that have been applied there. And if there isn't something, like say you had a widget and it didn't have a button in it, and you put something in that had a button in it, it's going to take default button styling instead of whatever maybe was supposed to be for this page kind of thing. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
you may find things don't look quite right because they weren't accounted for. But in general, yeah, you can add more than one widget in there. They'll just, depending on how the widget is created, they'll either just stack, or sometimes if it's a flexible widget area, then it'll do some different kind of combos to depend on that. So you can play with it and see.
And then I've got it. Yeah.
So you're not really limited. You can't put as many widgets as you want.
Okay, cool. I'll go back and try that.
Yeah. One comment that I would make, though, we made a couple of times since at least I've hopped on, is your overall body font isn't too bad, but your buttons and a couple of other places have really tiny font.
Oh.
Yeah, it's definitely on the small side.
I would,
because I probably chose a small button. I'm presumably I can make that bigger. I don't know if that's built in, or I'm sure.
Yeah, it's probably a global setting somewhere. Because it's consistent throughout all of your buttons, right? But then there's a couple of other places where, like even your forms, the labels on the forms, not that one, but that one that you were talking about with the address and all that.
That's Ninja Forms.
Oh, that's Ninja Forms. Okay. Ninja Forms will have in their advanced section the ability to make it a little bigger, the font size.
Right.
So it'll go to forms and then advanced, and the font size will be there.
Actually, no, that one's okay. What was I looking at?
Maybe in the bottom, maybe
Is it possible that the font didn't load right away?
It's possible.
It's also possible that I'm drunk, so ignore me.
Maybe you're looking like, I know in the footer it is pretty tiny in the footer. Like,
yeah. Oh, see this one. This is the one. Yeah. The all capital. No, the one up above.
The comment form.
Yeah, that form.
Right.
Yeah.
Super tiny text, and it looks like it's a really thin font too. So all of that combined, I
don't know if I've got any choice on that, because that's just a allow comments checkbox.
Yeah.
Like I either allow comments or I don't. I don't think I can. Can I change that?
Well, you can through CSS. It might not be.
Don't know. No, then I can't. Me personally, I'm not.
You can probably Google for your if it's like a busy, or if it's a popular theme, you can Google, how to update comment font, and then insert your theme name or whatever.
And older theme, so they're not selling it anymore. It was
okay. You could try still. Somebody might have posted
Boss Pro.
All of those.
Look through with Genesis, because Genesis has a pretty good community around it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sure they would still help me. I got it from through the Genesis site. I'm trying to remember the name.
Yeah, they'll help you.
Bloom.
Studio Press.
The Bloom Studio. It's a Bloom theme but I got through Studio Press. So I'm sure they would help me if I'll ask them. But somebody else asked me what theme it was, and I'm like, well, they're not selling this theme, but they have good themes. So, I think
so.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or you can just hide the comment box.
True, because anyway, nobody comes to my site, so I don't really need a comment box. I could turn that off.
It's another fix. So cool. All right. Anyways. Yeah, you don't have it. Okay, good. You don't have it there.
Anyone else?
I would also just double check with the contrast checker, the yellow as font, because as the button, it's great. I think that's not an issue. But as font for links and that, it might not be great for contrast. Let me run it through something. Hold on.
Oh, small thing, Cassandra. I would open up any external links in a new tab. When I clicked on Planet Forest, it basically closed your page and didn't open a new tab. So any external links, I would. There's always like a checkbox to say like open a new window. So I'd look at that. Although for widgets, it might be a little bit of HTML, but it's definitely important to do.
You're muted.
I'm sure I had a choice to have that as a new page or not, so I'll change that. And I couldn't. The footer I can't really edit much, so I can't change the color, and I can't change I don't think I can change the size of that or the color of that link. Do you know what I mean? And I know that's really crappy in terms of being able to read those links. But yeah, I could certainly, or I'll make them bold or something. I'll try and do something to it.
You could try, if you know how, you could try creating your own footer and then just hiding this footer. Like you can make a custom one.
And Genesis has a plugin for you to be able to add. You need to know a tiny little bit of code.
Oh, okay.
I've done beginning CSS and HTML courses, and I've done, do you know what I mean? I've done a kind of testing website course, so I learned about looking at accessibility and stuff. I'm trying to get at least enough, you know what I mean? Just slowly increase my skills. So
totally.
Yeah. Do you have a link to that thing?
The plugin?
A Genesis footer widget or a plugin?
Yeah, what's it simple? I'll look it up in a sec. I just did the contrast check though, and yeah, it's a pretty low contrast. It's not passing accessibility for the
this one,
for the text, for the yellow text on the white background.
Which site do you use, Christina, for that?
Various. Right now, I just Googled contrast checker, and I'm on webaim.org/resources/contrast checker.
Okay.
Although I suppose I could have just opened it.
I had checked it somewhere once, but maybe not. It's tiny, isn't it? It's because that's a tag cloud too, so some of it comes out really small.
Yeah, and some of it is going to be okay, like especially if it's bigger than maybe, although this says no as well. This actually doesn't like the white text in the buttons either.
It looks beautiful, but it needs to be accessible.
That's right.
Something to consider.
Yeah.
You might want to think about the usefulness of a tag cloud as well. I mean, I don't know if I've ever clicked on them.
I was having fun playing with all the things, Like,
yep, that's usually how they get added to sites.
Sorry.
Oh, somebody's dog's not happy.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, that dog doesn't like the tag cloud. But you could probably get rid of, both of them. Bring the social media a little higher up, because if you're using those social media.
Yeah, I do the social media, so that would, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so do you have anyone else?
Anyone else want to be brave?
It's worth it.
I think that's it. Waiting for something to pop up in chat, but nothing is. All right. Well,
Ray,
Ray,
has
shoot it.
something.
Yeah.
Oh, is there a way to download the chat before we all go?
No, but I will save all the links and such, and I will share them. Don't worry. All right.
I missed that about the dogs not liking the tag cloud. That's awesome. I think it's Genesis Simple Edits, Cassandra, but I am going to double check it for you.
Seems slow to load, but could also be Zoom. It tends to slow down my machine. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's
throw that in
definitely a little
there.
slow.
I'm thinking it's the layer slider. Oh,
It very well could be.
yeah.
Yeah, layer slider and revolution slider, they can be,
Revolution slider was what it was, yeah.
yeah, they can be beasts.
Hmm. I'm thinking of taking it out because it's not really functioning as a slider. It's just the one image.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely get rid of it.
Okay. Yeah. Go back to your GT metrics there, Andrew. Oh, it's still analyzing?
Oh,
There you
wow.
go.
That's a lot of red.
Oh dear.
That's a lot of red. Well, it's a big site.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
Sometimes, depending on what the theme is that you're using, it's like coded to have the slider in. So you have to do finagling
yeah.
to get it to be an image instead.
Let's see.
So
Compression.
the scaled images is, you know, those ones are easy. The optimized images,
Right.
we've already talked about. You could speed up a lot of the other things by getting a caching plugin of some kind. That'll help with the compression, the JavaScript,
Right.
parsing, the minify. All of it.
I've seen that defer parsing on the other sites too. What exactly does that mean? What's the concept behind that?
So when a site, well, typically a plugin will add the JavaScript to the header of the image or
Right.
of the site. And so when it's loading, that has to load first before anyone else gets anything else. So the defer parsing pushes all of that into the footer. So you're getting your images and your text and things like that
before
first.
it goes to, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll look into that.
And also you're using Gutenberg on here, the block editor, so you should really easily be able to get rid of that header like slider area. Or just don't use their front page template and instead just make a new one and just use like the cover block to add that image instead.
Right. Yeah. I've seen the cover block. Yeah, I think that's one of my options to use that instead.
It's a good fit. Yeah, it's a good fit for this.
They wanted to retain that text box though. Will the cover, that was what I remember, that was what I was looking at with the cover block, if it could retain that text.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Oh yeah, this is full image. It's not even text.
That one, no, that is text.
Oh,
is it not selecting?
It's just not highlightable, but it is text.
Yeah, it's probably because of the revolution slider. Yeah, it's text within the slider plugin, so it's probably
no, the cover block has that option. You'll probably have to do a touch of CSS to add the border, but everything else it can already do natively.
What I was really planning on doing next was checking it more for accessibility. Any opinions on the accessibility of the site?
You don't have any focus states on here.
That one.
No,
oh yeah.
Say small text.
Right.
Size matters.
Right. Yeah.
I would say that gray of the body text is probably too light as well.
Against the white background, basically.
And when the text is that small, it shouldn't be that golden brown color either. Not when it's that small.
Yeah.
Like where the address is.
Yeah.
Going through all the files.
This is good. I like this. Oh, that screen that was there with the different pictures. That was, I think people will see that and go where they want to go.
Yeah. Definitely.
So like your...
And you use block editor for all this?
Actually, no, that's part of the issue that was also created using Revolution Slider. So
you can use block editor or the block editor for that too.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, it's, so which part did you use block editor? Just like this part here, or some of the headers?
I use not particularly because I use the block editor now for the posts, for the blog posts. But when this was created, no, we were using the page builder.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just
So I'm noticing there's no alt text on any of your images.
Right.
Yeah, a funny story that happened to me a few years ago when I mentioned I actually deleted all my photos online.
Right.
When I did that upgrade, I had alt text put in for all of the photos, so it was easy for me to go and locate them after from my database.
Oh,
totally. That's awesome.
But if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be able to find the pictures. So
a lot of gray hair.
More gray hair. I'm already getting some.
Ooh, I found my first gray hair yesterday.
Get lost.
I don't have gray hair. I have silver lining.
I like that.
So just while we were talking, I went and I downloaded that plugin, the cache plugin, to speed things up. And
which one?
What is it? WP Fastest Cache that you mentioned earlier. And
right.
It did seem to work. Like I don't know everything it does, but it did seem to speed it up, which is one thing I wanted to do. I also ran through that GT metrics to see where I could improve things. It seems like a lot of issues are with PNG files. And it was mentioned earlier regarding logos, PNG files are a good thing to have on there. So I'm just not sure how to.
When it comes to the images, right, with GT metrics, take it with a little bit of grain of salt because it's not thinking about context. It's just a robot. So in some cases, yes, it's going to say you could probably or should make your images smaller, but it might not actually be a good idea for you to do so. In the case of like logos and stuff.
Yeah, things like.
Yeah, but in the case of, sorry, Chris, I just ran Friends of Fish Creek as well. Sorry. In your case, it's the optimizing images that, so you're going to want to run those through, Tiny PNG or one of those other ones. Because you're right, these are logos that are, for the most part, the PNG ones and things like that. So you'll want them to be PNG.
Yep.
But it looks like there's almost 30 that need to be reduced. So one option for you is you've installed that WP Fastest Cache. Look into the Pro version. Okay. I want to say it's like $50 US or something like that. But it has an optimizing function on the back end, so it'll go through every image that you've uploaded and optimize them for you. Or you could do it manually as well.
Yeah, you can. I've sometimes had success just using the optimized version, and like it's manual. Like you save it, saves you a trip to go through the Tiny PNG or Photoshop, but you can save their optimized version but then have to re-upload to the file manager or something.
Because with photos, like we have a lot of photos on our website of wildlife and things like that, and I always minimize those to make them very small. I don't know if that's where any issues are coming from, or if it's just the logos. Because I'll go into a program called Earthram View. It's just a simple photo editing thing, and I can resize them in there. The other thing is if someone steals a picture from the website, well, they can't really do anything with it anyway because it's small.
Yeah, I have a couple things to add. Like when sometimes it's great to upload the big full size photo, which is awesome. But I think sometimes when you're including the photo, like you can sometimes choose, like when you upload the photo. Sorry guys, when you upload the photo, WordPress will sometimes generate multiple versions of different sizes. So yeah, you don't have to choose the original one that you uploaded. Choose the smaller one. Choose the 300 by 300 version if it's just for the logo that's going to go in your head banner. Or if it's just going to be icon, choose the 50 by 50, right? And then, yeah, down the road, hey, when you need that full 1,000 by 1,000, choose the original one, right? So there's some things you can do with the graphics too without having to, go resize it manually and put it there. Because, yeah, someday maybe I did want that 2,000 version to put in the background or something, right? So, yeah, just some minor things I've seen because, yeah, I've been playing around with images myself too. And like you said, when you put GT metrics or these things, it's like too big of a photo. It's screaming at you and stuff, right? And it's like, well, maybe there's other ways around it, right?
Also, when you're in the media gallery or media, like the image thing, when you pops open when you select your image, if you can't tell which one's a smaller one, in search, just type in 300 and it will show you all the files that were like the 300 version or like the 800 version or like the 250 version, or sorry, no, 150. So that's a good way to like just see that size version of all the images that you have on your site.
And is that
You can
a
use
new
something like Smush or something like, yes, no, it's not a new feature. It's always been there. And something like Short Pixel or WP Smush or E something something. Yeah, that one.
WW.
Yeah, the EW. Yeah, one of those would be good. And I'll put links in the chat in a sec here.
But yeah, just to jump on, like Chris was mentioning watermarks, right? So I was trying to look into that too, actually, just last week for another client. And yeah, I only found like a couple of them. You know, basically you can put a logo, like basically put another image and just put it on top. But it only put it in kind of just one spot. So you can say, you know, in the middle or in the corner, you can specify that. And it was a free plugin. So that's what I kind of went with, but I wasn't sure if there's any other suggestions. You know, I've seen some other ones where they kind of, you know, have their, you know, say like Simco management, for example, kind of repeat it over and over, but I couldn't really find a free plugin that did anything like that. I'm not sure what you were looking in mind, Chris, when it came to watermarking your images.
Well, I wasn't really thinking about watermarking. I wasn't, like I said, I'm not concerned if people steal them because they're very small anyway. That was my whole objective there.
Right.
My background is in like, I was just gonna say my background is in like graphics and layout and things like that. So I did learn some website stuff, but it's all very, very interesting, very complex to me. So
Yeah, you've got to balance the desire to not have somebody steal your image with the aesthetic of having a watermark on everything. Sometimes it's not worth it. And sometimes, depending, especially if you pop it in the corner, depending on what your picture is, if somebody wants it that bad, they're either going to A, ignore the watermark anyways, or B, they're just going to crop it out. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I went with like their logo and I kind of put it in the middle because, like you said, if you put it in the corners, they can just crop it out, right? So
yeah,
that's something that the client wanted for watermarks for, yeah, for their purpose. So.
Yeah.
Are you guys getting some? Well, A, it's quite small. B, I can't seem to get it.
Yeah, I'm wondering why that is. I'm wondering if it's that just for that property.
Hi, Paul.
Yeah, you mentioned there was a plugin that can optimize images as you upload them, right?
There's a few, yeah.
Yeah, I put like 3 links in there.
Okay, no, that's great. Yeah, because these images for rental properties, they're usually uploaded by the rental managers, and they upload them straight from their phones or from their cameras. Yeah. So we've been having some issues with image sizes.
Yeah.
A couple more.
You'll be hated because
I know.
if you upload 20 images, it actually takes a decent amount of time if you're doing it from full iPhone size because it'll reduce them and whatnot. But you know what? It's better that the site loads quickly for the user than the property managers losing a bit of hair for an extra 30 seconds.
I guess I could explain it to them.
Yeah.
Couple of small points, Ray, for accessibility. One, on the homepage, I noticed that under About Simco Management, you've got the 2 columns there, and they're justified instead of just left aligned or right aligned.
Okay.
It's smaller texts, or like it's a smaller text area, so it's not as big of a deal, but especially if you're going to be, if it's going to be in bigger text areas, you want to be careful and not do that. For web, because it causes what they call white rivers. So all the spaces between the words start to make these white rivers, and it can be distracting for people in general, but especially people who have ADHD have a really hard time because all they see is those white rivers. They can't see the words.
Oh, I didn't know that. So that's for justified text, right? That's where it happens.
There's like as far as I'm aware, there is never a good reason to use justified text on a website.
Okay. They're like newspapers, really.
Yeah, I was going to say it's one of those things that comes back from all the old days of print where you had to fit it into a column.
Exactly. And you'll get a lot of people, especially older people, who will ask you for justified text. And so it's just a matter of trying to convince them that it's really in their best interest for the readability of their visitors, and that it's not expected, right? Like we expected, yeah, books and things like that back in print to be aligned like that, but we don't expect websites to look like that.
So is it the same as double spacing then? It shows that I'm over 40?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Another thing that I noticed too on this page in particular is you have an H1 for our services.
Mm-hmm.
H1 should only be once on a page, should only be the page title.
Oh, okay.
And after that, and this comes down, I mean, this is an accessibility thing, but this is a structure thing. This is a Google search engine thing.
Right.
Headings.
It's an everything thing.
Yeah, headings should be used for structure, not for styling.
Not for layout.
Yeah. So I like to think of it as like, good old fashioned, talk about being over 40, textbooks, right? You get a big math or science textbook. You got your page title, or that's the cover of your textbook. That's the name of the textbook. And then inside that you have your different chapters, but each of those chapters have like sub chapters. And then even in those can have sort of sub chapters. So that's your H1s and then your H2s and your so everything should be hierarchical. So only one H1 because your book only ever has one title.
Yeah.
And then every major section on a page would be an H2. And then if there's subsections underneath, then H3. So I did a site for a dummy site with my dog. So I've got like a page about my dog Caper, who just lifted his head because he knows I'm talking about him. So that's the H1. And then I might have like Caper's favorite toys is the H2, but and then I might have another H2, Caper's favorite foods, but I might break that down into like dog foods and people foods. And those would be H3s, right? Because they belong to the favorite foods.
Also
so
quickly, do screen readers distinguish between header sizes, H1, H2, it can tell?
Yeah, because it takes the HTML tag, right?
Right.
So it knows that it's an H1 and H2 and it, yeah. So they know.
Treats them differently. Do they?
And yeah, and it goes to just towards expected behaviors. So I actually asked somebody, because I'm still, learning stuff about accessibility. I said, so when you want something to look like an H3, but it's an H2, what do you do? So the recommendation was you still call it an H2, but you create a class in CSS called H3.
Right.
And you apply the H3 class to the H2.
Yeah, I guess that makes
Right?
sense. Yeah, because with these ones, I think they were going for the size, really, not structure.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, they were doing styling with it. Yeah.
Pretty much anybody who hasn't done any, like until I started learning about accessibility, that's what I did too, because I didn't know.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But once I started learning about accessibility.
Because it was easy to make them bigger with a different H tag. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, swapping this to an H2 and then making these an H3 would be that's what I would do. Just for that whole structure piece.
Right. No, that's great.
Plus, it'll look more consistent, like having this underline out of nowhere, kind of.
Right. Yeah, I see that now.
And yeah. Someone had a question or a comment about the mobile version.
Mobile.
Yeah,
I'll have to check that out. On mobile, how does that look?
Weird borders. Is it these guys probably?
These, yeah, probably. There.
Okay, yeah.
Some.
Oops. Yeah,
I'm not sure how they did that line. I remember we were having some issues with that. Yeah, I'll have to take another look at it. Because those lines weren't exactly dynamic, I think. They were, I think they were fixed or something.
The border there. Where are you? That would be in that one. Anyways. Nope. Where are you? Anyways, anyone have any other comments?
Oh no, this is great feedback. Thanks.
Sweet.
Oh, you're still here, Aruba?
To follow up on the H1 issue, unfortunately, there's actually an extra H1 wrapped around the logo, so that's another one that wouldn't hurt to clean up structurally. It's not a make or break thing, but again, it's going to be a little confusing to a screen reader because they're going to be expecting a useful header there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, does anybody know why on earth? Like, that's a really common mistake in WordPress themes. What is the purpose of wrapping an H1 image in a header tag? How does that get done by accident?
It doesn't get done by accident. Yeah.
So, like, what's the thought process that there's any reason to wrap an image like a logo in a header tag?
They think that that's my page title.
Yeah, I wonder if it's the site title. Like, it's normally there if there's no logo.
Mm-hmm. Oh, maybe that's what it is. If you use a logo instead of of the site tag itself.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna have to
but
test
a proper
that.
theme
That's
will
what it
put
is.
both.
So then that brings the question of, if you're only supposed to have technically one H1 on a page, but you've got your site title as an H1 and your page title is an H1, should your page title be an H1?
Well, your page title should be an H1 unless it's the home page. On the home page, the logo should be, like, logo or site title should be H1, but otherwise it should be just a regular, like a heading or a paragraph tag or something.
There's never a reason to have an image as an H1. That's absolutely no semantic use at all, is it?
I'm wondering if it's automated because in this particular,
go ahead.
No, it's just that in this particular case, I think it's a header builder program, plugin.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's something like that there.
But even on a regular, even on an average WordPress site that's using that, it's not changing from page to page because the heading is the same. The header area is going to be the same page to page.
But usually there's a condition. Like when I build my themes, I have a condition like, hey, if this is the home page, then put an H1, and if there's a logo image, then there's still a site title for screen readers. But if it's not the home page, then don't put it in an H1 and put it in a paragraph tag or whatever. So you do that in condition to make sure the H1 is on the correct thing on the home page, but otherwise it's not.
Gotcha. I'm gonna check out.
The other thing to keep in mind too, as far as H1s, Christine, it's not that you can't have more than one on a page. It is semantically correct HTML5. So, for example, on a blog homepage where each you've got 5 blog posts with their excerpts, it is okay to have each of those blog posts still inherit their H1s. They'll typically be formatted that way.
That's good.
Just by default, but that's an example where it's still semantically correct HTML5, but that's not the kind of thing that gets us into trouble. It's the accidental ones that you were talking about that give us nightmares.
Yeah. That's good to know because I've wondered about things like that.
And just from the SEO point of view, the search engines don't care. There was a lot of push for a long time about how that could be used as a way to influence the importance of a phrase or a ranking or whatever, but Google keeps saying over and over again, they're going to figure out the context of the content of the page, and well-implemented structured H1s and H2s are great, but if you don't have them, they'll just figure it out for themselves. So I love giving them properly structured markup, but don't feel like if you've got a site that for technical reasons you just can't make it happen, that it's going to ruin the SEO, because it won't, fortunately.
All right, I'm going to leave because I have to prepare food for baking my fast, but it was really nice seeing everyone, and carry on. Shall see you next time.
See you later.
Christina, your co-host.
Okay, and if anybody has any ideas of what to do next month, because I'm running out of them, and I don't want to present anything, and you don't want me to.
Paul's here. I'm sure he won't mind doing an SEO one.
Everybody's giggling at Christina because we're all thinking the same thing.
Yeah.